So I've opened the last 2 episodes by saying we're in the dead of the offseason. Not a thing has happened. But today something finally happened. It wasn't the biggest thing in the world, but it was something. Jaylen Brown finally got his Supermax extension. The fattest contract in NBA history to the 21st best player in the league. How are y'all feeling about this?
Look, man, all right, regardless of how people feel about it, good or bad, at the end of the day, you need to take it as inspiration. This man's own teacher told this man, hey, I'll see you in the Cobb County jail system in a couple of years from now. Back when he was like 16, 15 years old or whatever. Yeah, exactly, bro. So for someone who doesn't have a left hand, this should be inspirational to all the right-handed hoopers out there.
Yeah, man. As long as you're very good at what you can do, you don't gotta be the best. You can cash in.
You know what's really the most insane thing I saw? I saw someone put up a tweet of a literal only right-handed hooper. Somebody with right-handed. He wasn't Emmanuel Hansel either. Some other dude. He was going crazy, and he was like, I forget what the caption was, but it was absolutely hilarious and out of pocket.
Very out of pocket. Yeah, man. Jaylen Brown got 5 years, $300 million, $60 million a year average. It's not quite how it works. It kind of levels up, but by the end of the contract, he'll be making over $60 million a year.
They better win a ring. They better win a ring.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say. Like, if you walk away from this era after paying Jaylen Brown, giving Tatum his money, going out trading for Kristaps Porzingis, and you still have no ring, you're an embarrassment. And you will be the laughingstock of the NBA. I don't care how good they are. They can be the number 1 seed for the next 5 years. If there is no championship ring at the end of it, you are a laughingstock. And that's just simple and plain.
Man. So do you think this is okay? So that I agree, but my question is, without that, just all things being equal, is this a good deal for the Celtics? Like, should they have done this?
Should they have done it? Yes. Is it a good deal for them? No. Like they had to do it because there wasn't really a path forward to either like stay as good and stay as competitive. Unless you actually thought that that the Dame for Jaylen Brown deal was like on the table, ready to be signed. Like if that wasn't real, and I don't think that it was, a lot of people have said like that, that never really had any real like credence to it, then for the Celtics, you had to do this. You had to keep this core together. Tatum is entering his prime. Jaylen Brown is entering his prime. And these 2 stars that you've created your team around, right, these 2 very dynamic wings in terms of like scoring the basketball, you have to do this in order to stay where you are. Because
for sure,
they've made the Eastern Conference Finals like 5 times in the last, 8 years or whatever. You have to keep the momentum going. But
I think it's 4 times in 5 years, which is nuts with that core.
Yeah.
What about you, Mo? How do you feel? What's your temperature on this deal?
I mean, similar ways to what Donovan said. I'm looking at it from a perspective where, like, you have to do this because there's nothing else on the table that makes sense. And if you're not going to, it doesn't make sense to go ahead and like play the long game with Jaylen Brown and like trade him for scraps and potentially take a couple steps back in order to, you don't take a couple steps back for fit unless like you have a prime time opportunity, and the Boston Celtics did not have that. I really do hope that they had at least a couple conversations with teams like the Portland Trail Blazers or whoever else. But I think they did what they had to do. And it's screaming to me, like they genuinely believe that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, along with Kristaps Porzingis, will take them to the promised land. Although I do think like they did nothing to help at all, like solve the issues, the deep-rooted issues that stained their team over the last few years between this duo. So I feel like they did what they're supposed to do. Like if I'm the GM too, I probably do the same thing. And like. This is the NBA.
They really had no choice. They had no choice. As soon as Jaylen Brown qualified for the Supermax, you had to give it to him. If anybody who qualifies to Supermax, unless they're like clearly not even like all-star level, they're going to get it. Especially as a homegrown star like Jaylen Brown, how can you look a player in their eyes and say you don't deserve this max amount of money that you qualified for or make an All-NBA? That's just horrible for team chemistry. It's not going to lead to anything productive. So they were kind of screwed, and which leads to a bigger picture conversation. The Supermax has like not helped the teams at all. It's been good for players individually to make more money, but every single player besides like Steph Curry and Jokic who have gotten the Supermax, it's been a mistake. Like it's never worked out well unless it's like the best guy in the league.
Yeah. That's an even deeper conversation, man. Like what the Supermax was intended to do seems like it's might be backfiring, you know, in terms of just like keeping your homegrown star and stuff like that. Yeah, whatever, cool. Like, I guess you could say it makes sense, but overall, like, it just feels like just because you make there's like, I don't know, all NBA first team is very different from all NBA third team. Like it's a couple, there's a couple tiers difference, you know, and so I think
literally 2 tiers between them.
No, quite, obviously, quite literally, but I think that things need to be reevaluated and readjusted so teams don't strangle themselves with the cap and all that stuff. Because
Jaylen deserves his money, but it's very hard to build a team when 45% of your cap is going to the 20th best player in the league. Like a really good second option that could arguably a first option on many nights if your star player isn't there. But it's like I said, unless he's a top 5 guy, he's not going to be worth that much money in your cap. It limits your flexibility. So the answer is probably like they should be able to give him that money, but it only counts as a regular 35% max against the cap. But that's not where we're at. So it's a lose-lose situation.
Listen, get Adam on the phone. We can talk to Adam. we can help him figure out, you know, the league, figure out the Supermax, because like you said, it's just and it's funny because a lot of these things, like a lot of the rules that get put into place are meant to like help small market teams and are meant to help, you know, like the Supermax is so that the smaller markets can give their homegrown stars these big contracts to try and keep and get them to stay. But guys are getting the Supermax, and then a year in, they ask for trade. They, like, if they're truly unhappy, they just ask for a trade request, and then it's like, okay, are you just gonna let this person not play games, and they're just gonna sit out on the side? And it's just like a dead asset, or are you gonna trade them because they're unhappy and you can just fix the chemistry? And so it doesn't like it puts the players in a position where they have immense leverage once they sign the Supermax, and it's
sometimes. But sometimes the team decides that the Supermax contract isn't worth keeping on the books. Like we saw Blake Griffin. He got it, and then a year later they traded him by their own volition. Like
that was funny though.
Either way it goes, it's never like it's very rarely in the best interest for both parties for this deal to continue. Like it's hard to make that work.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Are we abolishing the Supermax? Is that the stance as a pod?
Not
is that the stance that we're taking?
As it stands, it should be adjusted, not abolished. Like
exactly,
nobody benefits if it counts as much against the cap as you're giving them. Like it should be something that is like a true benefit to the team, not just you can give them proper value, but like it shouldn't count properly value. You know what I mean? Like it shouldn't be 1-to-1, or else there's no real benefit.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
But on the other hand, people are having a lot of shell shock reaction to the $300 million number, and like, how can you give him this much money for someone who's not one of the best players in the league? And realistically, if he didn't make All NBA and he qualified for a 40% max instead of 45, or maybe it's 35 and 40, whatever the numbers are, they weren't going to have cap space regardless. Either way, it looks like a big number, but it's the same proportion of the cap as it was before. The cap's just going up. So to be fair, there is some overreaction to the numbers. Like, it tangibly doesn't make a huge difference.
I feel like, go ahead, Donovan.
At a certain point, though, right? And like, you can look at stuff by percentages, but once we're going to get to a point where the money is so big, where percentages out the door, some mid-level guy is going to be getting paid like, you know, $25, $30 million. And you're just like, this is wild, right? Like just the sheer number, because once you start, you know, talking about hundreds of millions of dollars, and we can get into, you know, percentages and everything, $50 million is still $50 million. And so like once the cap goes up, I think we're going to get to a point where it's just going to be impossible to look at the number and not be shocked at just how much money it is. And it's like, yo, this guy is just, like you said, he's the 20th best player in the league, and he's now owner of like the richest contract in NBA history. Obviously that's going to change. But he's going to make $70 million. And I don't think any of us,
that's how it goes. Like,
I don't think any of us think that like
years,
Jaylen Brown is going to be like a top 5 player in the league, and he's making $70 million.
But see, in 2 years from now, he'll be the 20th highest paid player in the league. Like, it's how it goes. Like, it comes in cycles. So like, it's hard not to overreact, but there's 12 other players who have a supermax. He has the same proportion of the cap as them. Once the other next 12 come, they'll have that new cap salary that he signed under. It'll level out over time.
Kuzma's going to be making $45 million a year pretty soon. And I'm just going to lose my mind.
Yeah, it's like these big ass numbers are so mind boggling, and I feel like in the era that we grew up in, us specifically around our age, like 2K, my league, and all that, heavy influence in terms of just like ball knowledge and all that. And I feel like throughout this time period, we've like a lot of people have gotten a good gist of what type of value NBA players should be given or awarded. But now, because of a lot of back end stuff happening, TV deals and all that, like a lot of people don't have, their scale isn't updated in terms of what each player is valued at. And so like in the future, for sure, like next time that let's say not Kuz, but say Luka Doncic gets an opportunity to go ahead and sign a fat ass bag, he's going to be making $100 million like a year eventually. It's going to happen. Whether when he's like 30 or 27, it's going to happen, you know? And it's just a thing that no one's ever going to be able to get over because of how fast these things seem to like be moving. Just a couple of years ago, my uncle Luol Deng was making $17 million a year.
My uncle. Yeah. So I think a lot of people still view like max salary guys at like $30 million. That's still like the baseline of people's heads from back when Mike Conley got that deal, and like 30 was like the typical max. But now there's different forms of max contracts and different like rookie designated extensions. Just like so many different tiers now that nothing's consistent. They're like 50 million is kind of the new 30, but then there's some guys making 60, some guys making 65. Like there's no easy number to look at anymore like there used to be, so it's confusing for the average fan.
Listen, between the Jaylen Brown contract and Mbappe getting offered $1 billion to go play soccer in Saudi, no number makes sense to me anymore. I don't know what anybody is worth because it's just on a complete, just crazy spectrum of how much money is in professional sports right now. It's crazy, it's wild.
Catch up. Don't be a boomer, man. Catch up and get updated with the system. That's how boomers are created.
$69 million for Jaylen Brown. Do you like if that money was coming out of your bank account, would you be happy?
Bro, what?
I mean, but at that point, they're going to be paying $250 million a year for the Caps, so it'll be fine. Like it's all relative.
Yeah.
It's nasty work. That's what it is.
Now,
nasty work.
When it comes to the on-the-court stuff, they're, like we said a couple episodes ago, back when I think they lost the Eastern Conference Finals or whatever, they're fully leaning on to... Such a hater talk. They're fully leading into Jason Tatum being the one, obviously clear as day, in terms of like, like this playmaking. We can't get it from outside. We can't outsource anything. We have to dig in-house. And Jason Tatum has to be trusted with the ball more and be like that type of facilitator. Yeah, for sure. And Jaylen. But mainly, like in my mind, all the spotlight's on him and what type of actual leap is he going to make.
For sure. I mean, Tatum's made playmaking leaps over the last couple of years. Like he's a solid playmaker now. He used to be a black hole. Jaylen can't be dribbling off his knees, getting ripped by every player on the Heat every 5 seconds anymore. Like he has to carry that burden, which doesn't mean a whole lot because he already had to this year. Like he was already that second guy. But it's just emphasized pressure on him to somehow get better at those things. Who knows if he can, but
he won't.
It's just an even greater spotlight on his biggest weakness.
He won't. He's about to go into year 8. Like outside of Brook Lopez, like it's not even something. It's not even something where it's like a minor weakness. This is a major flaw of his, and and again, outside of Brook Lopez, I don't think that we've seen anybody who's been able
Blake
to really
Griffin
like Trent. With Blake,
true.
What's the weakness? What's the weakness for Blake?
Well, he wasn't a great passer when he was young, and he became a really good facilitator at those late Clippers years into the Pistons year. He was like a point forward, and obviously shooting, 3-point shooting.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's a little different than playmaking feel. But Blake definitely had a big transformation too.
Pistons Blake was fucking different. Best version of
DeMar DeRozan did it with the Spurs. He became a really good playmaker for those couple of years when they needed him to be like the kind of pseudo point guard.
Mm-hmm.
So it's possible, but we just named like 3 players. There's fucking 6,000 in the rest of the history of the league who didn't do that. So it's not like the numbers are in his favor.
Yeah.
Most players are who they are when they're 29.
That's what I'm saying. And I just don't believe, because if you can't if he didn't make that leap coming off of the finals loss where he also could not dribble then, it's like, hey, you don't have a left hand and it really just cost us a championship. Do you think that you can get in the lab and work on that? And like, listen, I know for a fact that him and Kyrie, they probably run in the same circle. They probably hang out a lot, right? They're probably on the same wavelength. You can call Kyrie and ask for some dribbling drills and do whatever you need to do to get some handles.
Imagine being the highest paid player in the NBA and you ask your ex-teammate, hey, can you come teach me how to play basketball?
Please do it because
oh my god,
this is back-to-back years that the Celtics have had Jaylen Brown and his flaws be a major issue for them, and it's not something where I don't feel like we're overreacting whenever we talk about his
we're not.
Like whenever we're talking about his dribbling is a problem. It's an issue and he hasn't fixed it. And if he 100% doesn't fix it going into next year, I will lose hope that this will ever be something that he can fix.
Yeah. It's not even necessarily just dribbling either. It's like, sure, yeah, he's not a good dribbler, but like a lot of players aren't. Like Klay Thompson's not a good dribbler, but it matters because the way the Celtics roster is set up, without a true point guard, with very, very limited passing ability on the roster, you're forcing these guys to be the two lead playmakers, Jaylen and Tatum. So it's just like an added emphasis on that skill because of the players around him. There's plenty of teams out there that you put Jaylen there, his lack of handle or lack of playmaking wouldn't be a big issue. You throw him on the Hawks next to Trae Young, it wouldn't matter that much. But when you're next to Jason Tatum and Derek White and Kristaps Porzingis and Robert Williams and just a lot of guys who aren't top-tier passers, then that weakness becomes something that he has to actually go to. So it's really
loud as fuck. His weakness is bass boosted. It's amplified like shit on a team like the Boston Celtics. Meanwhile, if you're on a team like the Atlanta Hawks, you got a silencer on that bitch. Yeah, it's like a red flag, but like, you know what I'm saying? You can get away with it most of the time. So
yeah, exactly.
I just hope, that the Celtics are right in terms of something that I also want to say before I finish my thought. Like, these dudes are still pretty young, and in terms of like the timeline of how long it takes for X and X player typically to go ahead and finally make that championship hump, they're right on par, in terms of that.
For sure.
So I'm not like calling this a wrap. I'm not saying, it's a terrible deal or anything like that. I think they did exactly what they're supposed to. Exactly what they're supposed to do.
That's fair, but a lot of times when teams get over that championship hump, it's because they make a clear trade to address a weakness. The Bucks couldn't get over the hump. They got Drew Holiday. They got a playmaker next to Giannis who can allow Giannis to be the guy setting screens on pick and rolls, be the guy being a lob threat, and use his playmaking secondarily because he also couldn't be the lead playmaker. Or you think of any other team that made that leap. Well, what's the other team that in recent history?
You could think of the Toronto Raptors if you want.
Yeah, they added Kawhi. It's an outlier, but you know what I mean? Like, the teams that get over that hump after a few years of the core together, there's a reason why. And we could argue the Celtics have done the opposite, and they've exasperated their biggest weakness and didn't address it. Maybe Porzingis proves to be the talent needed to push them over the edge, but it's not as simple as just having enough good players you're going to be good. They have to fit together, and their weaknesses, like you said, are still their weaknesses.
Nah, they're on the clock, though. They're on the clock. You've been to the conference finals year after year after year. You were up 2-1 in the NBA finals and lost 3 straight and gave up like a 21-0 run on your home floor in game 6. I don't want to hear, especially next year, I don't want to hear anything about, the Celtics, they're still kind of young, like they're 26, 27. Yo, all of these guys have been in the Eastern Conference Finals since the day they walked into the league. Tatum was in the Eastern Conference Finals. Jaylen Brown was there. All of them have experience now. You've been through enough games. You've been through enough series. Win something. It's time for the Celtics to win. And you're giving people $300 million. You're trading for Porzingis. You're making all these moves. Your time is now. And if you do not win a championship, it's a failure. It's like they 100% are championship or bust this season. And this contract is an indicator of that.
Shout out to the Boston Celtics. Your hands of your future will be decided by bald head Derek White. Good luck, man.
Isn't it crazy that Mikal Bridges is older than Jaylen Brown?
That's so freaky to think about, dude.
He's like 3 months older than Jaylen Brown. How the fuck is that possible?
That sounds illegal, man. I feel like you just lied to me right there. And I can't do anything to question you because I feel like you're right. Because I feel like Miles or Mikal Bridges has been in college for like, what, 2 years or something like that? So,
yeah, and I think Jaylen, like, what's it called? Reclassified, so he came in really young.
Yeah, exactly. Mikal, I was watching the Paul George podcast, and I think he said, like, during high school and college, he never clipped that 30-point per game mark. So obviously, it took him some time to go ahead and, you know, he couldn't leapfrog people as easily as Jaylen Brown. So,
speaking of Bridges, I think that transitions us into the topic of this episode that you see in the title. We're gonna rank our top 30 small forwards in the NBA, continuing the trend we've been doing this whole month, where we've gone position by position. Now we're at the threes. I like this list so much better than last week's. Last week's was horrible.
We were in the trenches last week, but we have overcome. The small forward list is arguably the best list in the entire league in terms of position, and I'm very excited to see where we're at.
Right before we get into these lists, y'all need to go ahead and join the Discord. Also, leave a like on this video. Go ahead, give us 5 stars across all audio platforms, and drop a fat ass comment and also like again on this video. We may continue.
Nice. Yeah, as always, the Discord link will be in the description of this video. We're going to be there. It should be fixed. It was broken for a long time. Should be good now. And yeah, man, I'll send my first 5 names and we'll get straight to this list.
Shout out to the mods.
At number 30, I have Herbert Jones. At 29, DeAndre Hunter. 28 Trey Murphy. 27, Keldon Johnson. And 26, RJ Barrett. How do y'all feel? Silence filled the room. I see Mo's like dumbfounded by what?
Dude, DeAndre Hunter's 29?
You
think RJ Barrett is better than DeAndre Hunter? You're off the rocks, man. You're crazy. You're crazy.
They're both mid as fuck.
You'd rather have RJ Barrett on your team? You're telling me that right now? You'd rather build around RJ Barrett or have him as a cornerstone piece? Cornerstone at what?
Okay. I mean, I would rather build around
you're thinking
RJ
about it wrong. You're thinking about it all wrong.
Hunter, though.
You're thinking about it all wrong. Neither one of them are building around pieces. They're not cornerstone guys. So this isn't a conversation of you never build around either. That's an irrelevant question because if you're building around DeAndre Hunter, you're in hell. But if I'm just trying to say who's better overall, who provides more value, I give the slight edge to RJ. I feel like Hunter is he's solid at what he does. I was gonna say very good. He's not very good at anything, but he's solid at his role and doesn't cost you anything. I guess you could say RJ has some negatives that hurt you at times. But I think RJ has a little bit higher of a talent ceiling.
Ceiling for sure, but that's literally the
currently,
only thing.
Not ceiling like long term. Like currently.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, I think if you apply him, this doesn't mean he's a better player necessarily, but a lot of teams would have so much easier of a time figuring out where DeAndre Hunter would fit on their team and how he could easily provide value and elevate their team compared to someone like RJ Barrett, where you'd have to finish and finagle his play style into a winning game and brand of basketball. Now, I agree, like RJ Barrett, like currently, and also like just overall, I will forever think that I like RJ Barrett just naturally has a higher ceiling because he's just more aggressive and he's in that mold of a scoring small forward over. But that's a dream. That's a reality. That's not reality. And
yeah, well, they're both mid. So if you want to put,
for sure,
they're so close. Hunter could be a little better. I don't even care. Like,
I care.
They both suck.
God,
they both suck. The moral of the story is Trey Murphy's better than DeAndre Hunter. That's not negotiable. If you want to push RJ down to 30, I don't give a fuck. That's fine.
Change your list right now.
Honestly, I put RJ this high to try to be objective and be polite because I'm constantly crapping on RJ and I do not think he's very good. I was like, let me put aside my feelings about his style of play. He's probably talented enough to deserve to be a little bit higher than 30. I wanted to put him next to Herb Jones, to be honest.
Man.
Yeah. Mo, I think well, listen, I don't disagree with the idea that like they're very close, as you guys will see in my rankings. I think you're wrong in your assessment that like you have to do a lot of finagling to make RJ Barrett like fit into some winning system and like DeAndre Hunter is just this perfect glue guy. Like relax.
Yeah, DeAndre Hunter sucks.
Relax. He's not all that either. So it's like
he's not.
Are
He's
you
a
kidding
3D
me?
guy who's only okay at threes and okay at D. This is
Listen.
more about DeAndre Hunter being disappointing than it is anything about RJ Barrett.
He definitely has been disappointing, but when it comes to at least on the offensive end, dude averaged 16 points in the postseason for us. The year before that, 21 points. The year before that,
In 5 games?
10
Great.
points. Yes, that's better than RJ Barrett. That's better than not any game that RJ Barrett has ever had because I can't
I don't give a
discredit
fuck
and
about
lie.
a 5-game sample.
I
I'm not deciding
do.
anything.
I do. This means something to me, man. All right.
And the numbers you said
God.
was 16. Congratulations. We're talking about, you said like it was 30. Like, he averaged 16 for 5 games. Great. Like, that's what a fucking accomplishment.
While I say this, I do need RJ or DeAndre Hunter off my team, respectfully. So I can go ahead and let this go.
Yeah, mid-off.
Thank you.
It's still crazy.
All right, I'm sending in my 5. Let's keep this moving. At 30, I've Kyle Slow-Mo Anderson. 29, I have Gordon Hayward. At 28, I have Keldon Johnson. 27, I have Dylan Brooks. And at 26, I have RJ Barrett.
Good grief.
Okay.
What
Kyle Anderson.
What possessed you to put Kyle Slow-Mo Anderson onto
Kyle
that
Anderson
list?
is nice. Kyle Anderson is lit, bro. Listen,
He is good.
Listen,
I like him.
he is really good. And when you're looking at when you watch the Timberwolves, and they had a lot of issues last year, but Kyle Anderson was one of those guys where when he's in the game, things just work better. He was a really good connector for them. And
For sure.
And when you have when your team is Ant, Cat, and Rudy Gobert, you really, really need people to help facilitate the offense, right? Or else you're just going to get Ant, going one-on-one. And Kyle Anderson was one of those guys where he was doing a lot of that. And so I think for him, he provides a lot of value for the Timberwolves. I think that he, even in Memphis, the year prior, he was doing a lot of that. He's a Swiss Army knife. He's a veteran. He knows what he's doing. And I think that he contributes to winning basketball at a very good level. And so it's do I think that he's a starting small forward in the league? Yeah, I do. Do I think that Kyle Anderson can help a team win a championship or even if he's not a starter? Can Kyle Anderson come off the bench and improve your second unit? 100%. So I'll put Kyle Anderson at 30.
You can put him literally.
If you told me I had to replace Herb Jones and Kyle Anderson, I'd have no issue with that for number 30.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, exactly. You can put Kyle Anderson on literally any team in the NBA, and there's a clear pathway as to how he'd thrive. Put him on the Warriors. Good grief, that's a disgusting combo. Put him on the Detroit Pistons.
Don't say this now. You were just
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
What? No. I just wanted to know what possessed you to go ahead and do that. I love it. I love him. What do you mean? I love him. I am not
Stand
a
on
fanboy
something.
or a stan.
I'll
But
run the tape back.
Stand on
I heard
something.
what possessed you to put Kyle Anderson on your
yeah,
list.
just because I'm
verbatim.
curious, because you don't see Kyle Anderson on any type of list whatsoever, ever. This is the first time I've seen him on any type of list, bro. But I love it. I'm a fan of his.
Any list ever.
Like
Nobody's ever wrote his name down.
yeah, exactly. Maybe he's been on the list of most top 5 or top 10 most weirdest game in NBA history because it just stands out so clearly. But I'm gonna go ahead and send my list in at 30. I got Dylan Brooks. Now, I understand.
There's one name on your list. It's not Dylan Brooks, but we can get to it.
Okay. So at 30, Dylan Brooks. 29, Keegan Murray. 28, I have Trey Murphy. 27, Kelly Oubre and Josh Hart at 26. Now,
I forgot about Kelly Oubre because he's not on a team, so I forgot about him. Fuck.
Yeah, Kelly Oubre is I don't know, he averaged 20 points per game, which is crazy as hell to say. But I hate using this word, but those are some of the most empty stats, calorie stats that I've ever seen in my entire life.
He was pretty good this year. It's easy to say that because he played for the Hornets, but I think Kelly Oubre had a solid season. He was good.
It's okay, but it's to point and be oh, he averaged 20. Yeah, because LaMelo wasn't there right before the season. Miles Bridges did what he did, so it's we're gonna go to our 4th best player and just let you get up shots.
Though he filled the role, he did his thing.
Yeah.
He did what he had to do.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to him. But
27 is a bit high. I think.
Keegan Murray is way too low. That's the issue. There's no world where Kelly Oubre is better than Keegan Murray.
Really?
No world. Keegan Murray's good. I have Keegan Murray much higher.
Nice. I like that. I was kind of scared to put him on my list in general, but I'm happy you said that. I'm not
Keegan Murray's solid.
fighting or dying. I don't know. I feel like, damn, after defending or after saying Kelly Oubre is nice or whatever, you're saying Keegan Murray's way better. That's kind of crazy.
I don't know if I'd say way better because we're talking about like a rookie still, but
It's so
I
hard to
think
compare the two.
I have Keegan like 9 spots higher than you, something like
Wow.
that. And I would have Oubre around 29, 30 if I was going to have him on my list.
Yeah.
Like Oubre versus Trey Murphy, that's a good debate. I don't think Oubre versus Keegan Murray is much of a debate. I think Keegan Murray is more valuable in just about every way.
I'm not arguing that whatsoever. I do love Keegan Murray because I think during the first like 3 games of the NBA playoffs against the Warriors, this dude was booty cheeks, ass, bro. He shot like 23% from the field and averaged like 3 points. And then during the last 4 games, I would say, he put up like 16 on pretty nice efficiency, and he just went through that like rookie curve. So shout out to him. He probably should be higher in those lists, but I just saw Kelly Oubre. I'm like, 20 points per game? You deserve this respect, homie. It's empty, but you deserve it.
Interesting. We all had Trey Murphy in about the same spot. Actually, no, Donovan didn't have him on here yet. Donovan, is Trey Murphy on your list?
Yeah, he's on my list.
Okay, so you have him higher. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll wait to talk about Trey Murphy until we see how high you got him.
Yeah.
Who else we all have on our list in the same area? Mo hasn't listed Keldon Johnson yet. Is he on your list?
Yeah, he's on my list. He's just a little bit higher.
Okay.
It's a little
you
bit.
have Josh Hart here. Interesting. I kind of I didn't put him on this list. I forgot because it was like a mix up between him on the shooting guard list or a small forward.
Yeah.
But that's cool. It's a good spot for him if you're counting him.
Facts.
You have Brooks much lower. You guys both have Brooks lower than me.
Lower?
Brooks coming up my next 5.
Woo!
I have him a little good chunk.
See,
higher.
I put him at 30 also because of like background stuff. I saw a tweet that came out today talking about how this man wants to. Let me just go ahead and wait until you go ahead and send off your list. Then I can go in.
Yeah. Okay, I'll do my next 5. We'll go to my next 5.
Yeah.
Next 5, I have Keegan Murray at 21, Bruce Brown at 22, Harrison Barnes at 23, Dylan Brooks at 24, and Gordon Hayward at 25.
I will tell you right now, Harrison Barnes is much too high. He's much too high. That's a little bit too much respect for me.
So is Harrison Barnes not on your list?
No, he's not.
Oh, your list is trash. Your list is trash.
You think Kyle Anderson's better than Harrison Barnes?
Yes, I would.
Get a grip. Get a grip.
I would rather have Kyle Anderson on my team than Harrison Barnes.
You just don't like Harrison Barnes. What?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
That's the
Harrison
hating.
Barnes. Listen, if we are talking about Kyle Anderson, I love these rankings. We get the craziest debates. But if we're talking about Kyle Anderson versus Harris, I can't say without laughing.
Dirty, dude. You're dirty. You feel the grime.
Listen, if we're talking about those two, we really are.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
We really are talking about.
He can't even talk. He can't say it with a straight face.
This is crazy.
Shut your mouth.
It's crazy. But we're really talking about like mid here. And so like if we're doing a deep dive on this mid, right? Harrison Barnes.
Deep dive on the mid.
For real. I think that Kyle Anderson, and this really is just like a matter of perception and expectation, but Kyle Anderson is gonna do things where you're like, oh, like that's cool, like that's kind of interesting. Harrison Barnes is just gonna give you like 12, 13 points a game. He's just like okay on defense, like he's nothing crazy, but somehow, some way, the ball's gonna find Harrison Barnes with 2.5 minutes left, and you're down 4, and you need a 3, and he's gonna hit the side of the backboard, and you could be like, why are we paying this guy $25 million? Like, why is he here right now? And
what did this man do to you? You're talking about hypothetical situations where he comes up the side of the backboard. Has he ever done that before?
Okay, not the side of the backboard, but
he's never done that.
But he missed. I'm telling you, in the playoffs against the Warriors, he had a wide open 3 to win the game. And I'm saying,
took him off your list because he missed a game winner.
I'm telling you, those are the types of moments. Those are the types of moments that come with the Harrison Barnes experience, and I just wouldn't want that on my team. I feel like I can find better people. I feel like I can find people who can do other things to where like I don't need the skill set that Harrison Barnes provides. I can go find that in somebody else. Like I don't need to go to Harrison Barnes.
But you can't find slow-mo. You can't find those 9 points a game.
Yeah.
He's one of a kind. He's one of a kind.
You know, you're showing your true colors.
Nobody in the history of the NBA
This is colorism.
has played. Stop that.
Donovan.
Stop that. Kyle Anderson is a one of a kind role player, and I think we should appreciate him as such. But for Harrison Barnes, it's like he could be on the floor for 30 minutes or he could play 5 minutes. I wouldn't know. He's just there for me. I just don't notice Harrison Barnes until he's messing up.
What else you guys have to say about this 5? I have Murray at 21.
Yeah. So that's probably the biggest difference for me, not having Keegan Murray on my list. But outside of that, like, our lists are insanely identical. I have Gordon Hayward at the same spot. I have Bruce Brown in the exact same spot. That's insanely identical. Really, it's not. But I had those two in the same spot, and I like where you rank those guys. Who's Dylan? Okay, Dylan Brooks is at an interesting spot. I think that's fair. That's fair. I think I'd rather have Gordon Hayward on my team than Dylan Brooks because of outside things, and Dylan Brooks is like mentality. He has Patrick Beverly. I won't even say Patrick Beverly syndrome. He has some type of delusion in his head to where he has some type of delusion in his head to where like he thinks he's like that
my water out.
when he's far from like that.
Syndrome
he said
is crazy.
He said a medical term for Patrick Beverly brain. Terminal Patrick Beverly brain.
But he said that
an elite defender. Defense matters. Enough to put him up that high. Offense sucks, but there's players that are really good at offense but suck ass on defense.
He said that he didn't want to be the 4th or 5th option on a super talented Memphis Grizzlies team.
Nobody wants to be the 5th option. Nobody wants to be the 5th option. I don't blame him.
Reality, man.
I poke bears.
But other than that,
like, what are you talking about? I poke bears. We're playing basketball, Dylan. Please, get a grip.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah. Okay.
So, such index 5, Donovan.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. At 25, I have DeAndre Hunter. 24, Trey Murphy. 23, Herb Jones. 22, Keegan Murray, and then 21, Bruce Brown.
You have Herb Jones high as hell.
I really do. I do. I would probably drop him now that I'm looking at it, but I'm gonna stand on it. I think Herb Jones, like, although he can't shoot for nothing, Herb Jones can play some defense, and I value his defense a lot. I feel like he's been snubbed a couple times, like for all defensive teams.
Definitely.
Like I think he's that caliber of a defender, and
that's fair.
And when you're like that, and even though he can't shoot, he's like if Dylan Brooks knew that he couldn't shoot, and he's like, okay, I'm not going to take like these crazy shots, and that is much more manageable to like plug and play on the team. And I think that self-awareness, that's what puts him higher for me. That's what I like about Herb Jones.
Okay,
that's fair.
I like it.
Stays within his role. I think Trey Murphy's definitely better than Herb Jones. I think even if not just ceiling, because we're talking about just now, but I think Trey Murphy's also like an underrated defender. He's the same, similar length, similar build, and he just can do a lot more interesting things with the ball in his hands. He has a little more ability to attack the rim. He's obviously a better shooter. Everybody is.
Yeah.
And I just think he has value in offense, and Herb Jones really doesn't.
No,
That's fair.
Definitely. I 100% agree with that.
We can do that.
He said, "Flip him." We can do that. Well, yeah, I 110% agree with that. Trey Murphy's the type of dude to where you can trust him. What?
I'm just gonna flip him.
It's okay,
bro.
And that one's okay because like they're teammates, so it's fine.
That is true. Dude, I'm over here scratching the fuck out of my eye. The other day when I recorded the podcast, my eyes were red, sneezing and all that, and someone said I need to get off the yayo. She was crazy as hell. I've never heard that. I haven't heard that terminology in a long time. But anyways, back to the subject at hand. Trey Murphy. I agree with you in your sentiment on that when it comes to comparing the two, Isaac. When I think of Trey Murphy, I think of this dude possibly being at times a secondary, but really a super comfortable tertiary ball handler. That's just in his game naturally. I can see him carving up a defense once in a while. It's not in his bag just yet, 110%, because he's still in the developmental phase, and also the Pelicans just have a backlog of talent. But yeah, I think that list is your list is pretty good, and I think Donovan's list is it's all right. It's not bad. You flipped it though. It's solid.
Time out. You have DeAndre Hunter at 21.
So at 20, okay. So at 25, I have Gordon Hayward. 24, oh shit. I have Bojan at 24. That's a flaw. Okay. 23, Norm Powell. He's listed as a small forward. I don't really like that.
Norm Powell's a shooting guard. You always do this. We did Norm Powell last week.
Was he not on the list?
No, Norm Powell's a shooting guard.
He was on the list last week.
I thought he was on the ESPN list. That's a mishap on my end.
It's fine. Norm Powell's a shooting guard, but keep going.
No one cares. 22, Bruce Brown. 21, DeAndre Hunter. Wow. I think I have a problem.
yeah, you do.
I think you ranked the idea of DeAndre Hunter. And I think I ranked the reality of DeAndre Hunter.
Look, the reality is not that bad. I think you're more for... Oh, shit. 21 is kind of high.
21 I think that the idea of the perfect version of DeAndre Hunter, who's actually 3-and-D and has some secondary creation chops like I thought he'd be coming out of college, that would be 21. But that's not... the people that are the audio aren't going to know why I just laughed.
They shouldn't know. They shouldn't know.
I like Bojan's placement. I have Bojan a little higher. Yeah, I haven't said his name yet.
Nice.
Bruce Brown's in a good spot. Yeah, Norm Powell was just a shooting guard. Like you're obsessed with out of position players.
Wait, can you explain the Bojan at 24? Because I'm with Isaac. He's a little bit higher on my list. I'm kind of like intrigued to know why you put him like this low.
Well, when it comes to Bojan, I don't have any necessary gripes or argument against putting him that low. It's just like, if I'm a championship team, I'm not 100. This is the gray area for me. Like at the next list, I'm like the next tier. I'm like, okay, I'm 110% set. Like I would rather have these players over X, Y, and Z. But this placement for Bojan is like, I'm very flexible with it. So I don't have any necessary real argument against that. Just like how I have an argument about DeAndre Hunter or anything like that. But at times, I think I would rather have Bojan over Norm Powell, Bruce Brown, and DeAndre Hunter just because of his scoring ability. But, with that said, he's a 0 on defense. And
I don't know if he's a 0.
But
he is rather one-dimensional. You're right. He's not giving you anything as a playmaker. He's probably average at best as a defender. So I understand the logic of putting him down. I just think that his offense and his level of outside shooting is so helpful for a team that he is more impactful as a 21 point per game scorer than like some other 21 point per game scorers are.
Wow. Why don't you have that same exact energy for Buddy Hield?
Because Buddy Hield is actually atrocious at defense. And Bojan's fine. He's big, can do some things. Buddy Hield is a fucking tire. Just getting not fucking spun around.
Wow. Now that...
that's a visual. That's a visual.
Yeah, that is a visual. That is a visual. But yeah, there's my list. Now that I think about it, I think I would put Bojan on 2021 and probably swap him and DeAndre Hunter. But other than that, I think I'm pretty solid on my list. And obviously, like, ignore Norm Powell, whatever, cool. He's just there. I'll put someone else there instead. So there's my list. Any other gripes? Gordon Hayward, good. We haven't said his name at all.
Yeah, I mean, nothing to say about him. He's fine. Gordon Hayward. He's a solid player. He's always hurt. Hard to rank him because he is always hurt, but when he plays, he's still good.
I'm happy you said his name because that is someone's favorite player out there.
Not mine.
Not mine.
My next 5. At 20, I have Scotty Barnes. At 19, I have Cam Johnson. 18, Bojan Bogdanovic. 17, Kyle Kuzma. And 16, Michael Porter Jr.
Okay.
Any thoughts?
Wow. I literally forgot about Cam Johnson. I love that placement. I love that placement for him.
Okay, so take off Norm Powell and put Cam Johnson. Where do you want to put Cam Johnson on your list?
Yeah, put Cam Johnson there. But can you actually send your list in?
Yeah. Look at the screen share.
Oh shit. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And I see. While I was doing a lot of rearranging, I also took Cam Johnson off my list while I was doing this rearranging. But I had him. I originally had him around I think I had him at 23, and I was mixing stuff around. And then he just got lost in the shuffle. But I like the pick though. I think my next tier is fairly similar, but I like it though.
I don't know.
Yeah, this is one of the hardest tiers for me to rank. These guys are all and the next couple names after that super close together.
I don't like how Scotty is lower than Cam and Bojan. And when it comes to Michael Porter Jr., I'm like, I'm not really fighting. I'm not really going tooth and nail on that. But I don't know. I just don't. I think Scotty should be a little bit higher for sure.
Scotty should be higher if we're talking about
In
like
theory.
where we thought he'd be after the first year or where we think he'll be next year. But he just didn't have a strong year. He wasn't effective as a finisher. He wasn't a shooter. His defense was actually like bad. Like every Rockets fan was like weirdly annoyed by how bad his defense was. He was kind of lost at times compared to his rookie year. He had an off year as a defender. He'll bounce back. But if I'm just basing off last year, he wasn't particularly good at much besides being a good playmaker for the position and just being the normal versatile self he is. But I think Cam Johnson's perimeter shooting, it's similar to the thing with Bojan that he really enhances an offense. And I think he's underrated as a defender. He's pretty solid. He's good at using his size despite not being super athletic. So I think he's like Michael Porter Jr. without the off the movement shooting and like quite as much versatility there as an offensive player, but he's a solid defender.
With that being said, I'd rather have Cam over Bojan. But other than those two things or three things or whatever, I think it was a solid.
Yeah, I might rather have Cam over Bojan too. The more I think about
I'm kind of surprised that you put Kuzma above or under Michael Porter Jr.
That was a debate for me. I think it came down to the fact that Michael Porter Jr. made some strides as a defender last year. We saw him be decent. He still has absolute fucking tunnel vision and couldn't pass. He couldn't get an assist to save his life. But I think his defensive issues were kind of lessened. He's not as much of a liability anymore. So I think when you're that lethal of a shooter and provide that much spacing to an offense while being a decent defender, can rebound a little bit with your size, I think it's more valuable than Kuzma, who's good at everything, more well-rounded, but not particularly great at anything. Doesn't have a high-level impact skill set.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not mad at that.
I'm cool. All right. So here's my next five. I'll go into that. So I have Josh Hart at 20, Bojan at 19, Scotty Barnes at 18, Jaden McDaniels at 17, and then J-Dub at 16. Yeah, I think that with Josh, it's kind of the same thing that we talked about last week. I think he's just like the ultimate role player, and he just does everything well. I agree with everything that Isaac said. I think that especially if Bojan was playing with a legitimate point guard, I think we would feel a little bit different about him and his 20 points. They don't feel as like inflated as Kelly Oubre's. But he was also on a Pistons team. Because like just they're not like empty, but like he's on a Pistons team with absolutely nothing around him, and so it's like okay, he's going to be the one to get him. But if you go back to all his stuff, his time in Utah, that's where I think you saw like really what Bojan can do, and if you get him in a competent situation, he'll be solid. And then
Bojan's nice.
Yeah, and then Scotty. We're still trying to like figure out. I think everything that Isaac described about Scotty and the way people talk about him, he has the DeAndre Hunter syndrome where like I think for a while people are going to see like the rookie of the year, and they're going to see the fact that he's 6'9", right? All these traits, and they're going to expect, especially if he doesn't make the leap this year, they're going to expect some stuff from Scotty and look at him in a certain way where he's cool. He's fine. He could do a couple things, but he's never like, unless obviously he makes the leap this year. But like right now, he's not at, that top 10 ceiling.
For sure not.
That top 10 ceiling that we thought he was going to be. Jaden McDaniels, fantastic defender, so versatile, can guard everybody, and I just think that like him in Minnesota being able to be like, just run around, do everything, guard everybody, that really helps them. And I just like his versatility. I value that a lot. And then J-Dub, it's weird. I think he was higher on my list for the shooting guards, but that's because there was like nobody in the shooting guards list. But I think that right here is really like around the tier that he should be in, like middle.
Yeah, and we should say there's some names like J-Dub who appear on both lists, because for this list we tried to make sure we didn't have any more position discrepancies, and we're going by ESPN. So some guys who we counted as shooting guards last week that should have been small forwards, we just did them again to make sure these last 3 lists are as perfect as possible.
Yeah.
I.e. Bruce Brown.
Yep, exactly. Bruce Brown and RJ Barrett. I think you guys counted them as shooting guards last week because you're faded. I actually have Jaden McDaniels like a few spots higher. I think Jaden McDaniels is very underrated. People don't realize how good he is, but like he made a legitimate offensive leap last year. I think he averaged like 12, but like was a very effective shooter, can do things attacking the rim. They just had a lot of other scorers ahead of him, so it didn't show it. But is that on top of being legitimately one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA? Yeah. Like probably top 5. I have him higher, and I have J-Dub higher, but the placements aren't too bad. I'm guessing you have Kuzma and Porter Jr. over them, which were debates I had. I ended up trending towards the younger guys who I think are... I had the bias to want to say Porter and Kuzma are better because they're more proven, done it for a while. But I was like, J-Dub's just better. Like, the defense is such a big difference there. I ended up going with him.
The defense and the playmaking. I'm not mad at it whatsoever. All right. So, for my list, I have at 20, I have Harrison Barnes. At 19, I got Keldon Johnson. 18, MPJ. 17, Kuz. And at 16, Jaden McDaniels. This is where he makes...
Keldon Johnson is so high.
Harrison Barnes
he is so high. No, look at this dude right here. Yeah. Keldon Johnson.
Harrison Barnes is high too. 21. Okay. You had 21 through 19. You have the most mid trio I've ever seen. Hunter, Barnes, Keldon. Mid.
Listen, Keldon, I feel like when it comes to my Keldon Johnson placement, I wanted to go ahead and show him his respect, my respects for his performance over the past season. Now, yes, you could say like his numbers are kind of empty stats or whatever, but he did show improvement and aggression and all that as a scorer, and I think he did get better overall. I don't even think he did. I think he did overall as a player.
He averaged more points, but he was so inefficient. Like, hey, Mom, go ahead. I mean, finish. My bad.
Regardless of the facts, I wanted to show him my respects for that, and I think that he's the type of player to where you shouldn't just shun him away completely when it comes to the San Antonio Spurs and their entire rebuild. I don't know why, but saying that he's a power forward or a small forward in my mind just doesn't sound right, but I had to throw him on there. And then as for what were other gripes? Harrison Barnes. One of the real values.
Let's talk about Keldon Johnson.
Real quick.
Year, this man was probably the worst 22 point per game scorer in the NBA. He averaged 2.9 assists and 2 turnovers. That is a 1.5 to 1 assist to turnover ratio.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Get him buckets. Get him buckets.
32% from 3, like a 52% true shooting percentage. He was not efficient at all. Granted, it wasn't entirely his fault because he was asked to be like the pseudo number 1 option. He's not built for that shit at all. So I guess he's on my list still because I think if you give him a team that makes sense and isn't asking him to do too much, he'll be better. But just off last year, that man was ass.
Where was he on your list?
I had him at 27.
Down below.
Damn. Oh, yeah, you're right. Ooh, 27. Tough.
Yeah. Just off last year, I don't think he should be top 30. But I'm giving him benefit of the doubt that when he's put in a role that suits him better, he'll be pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's me giving him a little bit too much of the benefit of the doubt because he's in a much better situation to where I think he's not going to be looked at as the first or second best player. He shouldn't be looked at that at all on the San Antonio Spurs team because of obviously Victor and other progressions and the progression of other players on that team as well. So yeah, there's my list. And as for Harrison Barnes, something that's like an underrated value about him is that when it comes to being the type of player to help your team mature a little bit more and set the bar of how things should be done. That's what he's good at, and that's exactly how you should view him. He's not the guy. He's not like a hyper. He's not out like a super unique player whatsoever. You can find 50 million Harrison Barnes throughout like basketball. You know, he's a replicable player, but he's just like a vet. He's consistent throughout the regular season. May not be as consistent as you would want him to be, but in terms of just being a great vet, coming in when it needs to be done, and also helping setting the bar and standard while performing in the regular season, he deserves a spot.
I agree with that. The only reason why I would still have him lower, and I guess not even on my list, but I think that that skill set is very, very particular to Sacramento. And like there's like a handful of teams where you can put him on and it's like, okay, he's going to be the vet that's going to teach everybody how to do things. And, you know, I'm going to tell the stories of like, okay, like this is how you work. This is how you move. If we're talking about we need to win a game tomorrow or we're trying to find a missing piece,
Kyle Anderson.
you know, if I had to win a game tomorrow, I would rather have Kyle Anderson on my team than Harrison.
Oh my God,
I'm
dude,
being 100% serious. But if we're talking about like, what are we going to make, you know, a move to bring somebody in here to put us over the hump? I don't see Harrison Barnes at the level to be where he's like just outside the upper third. That's the only reason why I just don't see him at like 20. But it's like, listen, if y'all,
I know what it is.
Listen, if y'all like it, I can't even say I love it. It's just like it is what it is. We just don't.
Harrison Barnes. He must have sold you on a lot of parlays, dude. That's the only way, like, I can see you doing it. And Chris Anderson must have saved your pockets because that's the only thing that makes sense.
I never bet on Harrison Barnes.
I remember a couple parlays you bet on Harrison Barnes before. I know.
Did
I? Did you see the way he said, did I, though?
Right, my next five.
A lot of parlays.
At 15, I have J-Dub. 14, Jaden McDaniels. 13, Jeremy Grant. 12, Franz Wagner. And 11, OG Anunoby. This was hard. This was a very difficult tier for me to rank.
That's dope.
Oh, Franz Wagner, man. OG he's not better than Franz Wagner's better than OG. There's no discussion for that, like, whatsoever. Other than defense, nice and all that, but
other than half the game that OG's great at, yeah,
yeah. But what the other things that Franz Wagner does supersedes everything else, and it's not like he's a slouch on defense, also too. Like there's a gap for sure, but it's not like he's Trae Young on D. Like he's not that.
I think OG's solid. OG's like scoring wise, Franz is a deeper back and do a little more creating off the dribble, but
you do a lot more.
OG's like one of the best 3-and-D guys in the league right now, especially since Mikal Bridges kind of graduated from that conversation. I think OG would look a lot better if he wasn't on a team with 6 guys starting that are all his size and his position. I think you put OG on another team that can really use his skill set more singularly than the Raptors can. I think he would surprise us. And I also just think he's that level of defender. He's really, really good.
Surprise us in what way or form? Let me ask that question.
He'd be better. He'd be better if his team wasn't starting 4 power forwards. I think he'd be better. Like put him on the Grizzlies, he's gonna impress.
Toronto really thought that they were doing something. They're like, we're gonna change basketball, and it's just like, yeah, you actually have the worst offense in the league now. Like, you guys are actually unwatchable.
And they stand 10 toes to it. It's ridiculous, man. I've never seen somebody be so proud to be so wrong, bro.
You know what's crazy? It's gonna be worse now. They replace Fred with Dennis Schroeder. It's all gonna look worse.
Man.
But yeah, man, I had Jaden McDaniels and J-Dub higher than Kuzma and Porter, which is, I think, something you guys flipped. And, yeah, I just think J-Dub is already a good defender. One of the best at his position at defensive playmaking. Like, his hands are insane. I'm sure he still has a ways to go in terms of, like, you know, adding strength, making the right rotations, doing all this stuff. You need to be a truly elite defender like an OG or whatever. But his instincts are already incredible. Like, if you watch his, like, just... watch his defensive highlights, and you'll be like, this guy's going to be one of the best defenders in the NBA in a couple of years. It's crazy. Like, you see the signs there already. And then Jaden McDaniels, I think, is somebody who isn't quite as offensively talented as J-Dub, but has already made that leap to being one of those top-tier defenders that J-Dub could be. So I think they're very similar in that way, and that going forward, they're going to continue to be neck and neck as they develop together.
Yeah.
Jeremy Grant, I struggle to rank him compared to those two. I'd rather have those two going forward, but I think... it's hard to rank Jeremy Grant because we see him now as a guy who's forced himself to be out of a role that he isn't built for because, like Dylan Brooks, he wants to be the guy. And that kind of like changes the way we view him. But before that transformation, he was a great defender, really good shooter, has that crazy length and versatility. And I think he still has those things. We just don't think about it as much because he's kind of put himself in a different conversation. But I think he brings similar things to Jaden McDaniels while having a little bit higher of an offensive ceiling at this point.
He put himself in a conversation of not being relevant whatsoever. Like the last time he played a meaningful game was back when he was on the Denver Nuggets, bro. That was years ago. That was the last time he made the playoffs. That's ridiculous.
Bro, he was getting buckets on the Pistons. Now he's getting lottery teams with the Blazers. Like, he's in hell.
Listen, he just wanted to upgrade his quality of life. He wanted to get buckets and get a bag, and he got both. So, like, shout out to Jeremy Grant. He's doing something
13th
right.
best small forward in the league. 42nd best player in the league.
Gross, bro.
All right, Donovan, send us your next 5.
All right, let's get into it. All right, so at 15, I got Kuz. 14, I got MPJ. 13, I got Franz. 12, I have OG. And then 11, I have Jeremy Grant.
Grant over OG and Franz. That's interesting.
Listen, this also was really, really hard for me because I like Franz. I like Franz a lot. I just think that the defense with the OG puts him over that. And then for Jeremy Grant, I think the fact that we've been able to see him kind of on 2 separate teams really elevate his game, expand his offensive game. I value that a lot from him. And I think that that's very like cool to see from him. And so like, while his defensive game is probably still like a little bit overrated, like I don't think he's not the same defender that he was back in Denver. But he's still like obviously not a net negative. And but like his offensive game and the way that has expanded really means a lot to me. So that's why I put him at 11. You can ask me this 20 games into next season, and I'll probably put Franz above both of them. Like I think Franz just does so much offensively, and I feel the most comfortable with Franz running my offense or running my team than I do with these other two. Yeah. And so yeah, by the time December rolls around, Franz is probably going to be 11, maybe even pushing top 10.
Oh, for sure. He's gonna make a big leap in year 3, and I think he's gonna be a star one day. Like not like superstar, but like low level star. Like he'll be like better at his position than like Sabonis is at his type shit.
Yeah,
he'll be right on tier in terms of the same level of player as like probably Chris Middleton, maybe like a step above him. That's how I view him.
I was thinking Brandon Ingram, same type of tier. Makes sense.
Yeah, relatively not that much big of a difference, but your list is cool. I still think I have Franz. I have Franz higher. I think it's a combination of a lot of things, and I just think in general, when you have playmaking, you're great at dribbling, you're a great driver, you're a great shooter, you're not ass at defense, you're actually like a solid defender. I think those types of players, I feel more comfortable with those types of players running my offense and being a part of my team long term. And that's like my biggest gripe with him against like OG Anunoby. And I'm not really going to throw him in that same conversation with Grant because I can't really compare the two. One's like 29 or whatever years old, and the other one's going into his 3rd year or whatever. But just in general, like when it comes to this type of archetype of player that I tend to lean towards, that's why I go for Franz way more than OG and Kuz and MPJ and the boys.
Send your next 5. Let's take a look at your next 5.
Yeah.
So let's see exactly how you have Franz.
That's crazy because he's not even a part of my next 5.
Is Franz top 10? Oh, he has Devin Vassell in here?
Scotty
Now look.
Bro, Devin Vassell is a shooting guard.
No, he's not. He's a small forward.
We did this last week.
Devin Vassell is a shooting guard. You do.
Was he a part of your shooting guards list last week?
Yeah.
Yes, he was also a part of yours.
Was he? Wow, I'm having a Kendrick Perkins moment right now. That is so crazy.
Go ahead and read your list off.
That is so crazy. Well, anyways, whatever.
So if you are between the heights of 6'3" and 6'9", you are a shooting guard / small forward. You are liable to be on any list. Just know that right now.
My propaganda is being pushed, and my list shows for it. Anyways, J-Dub, I 110% agree with you guys. Like he is exactly what a lot of teams tend to should look for. He's an absolute hit. OKC they'd be good still, but I don't think they would be as dynamic without someone like J-Dub. I feel like he fills a lot of gaps and a lot of holes across OKC's team. And then obviously Devin Vassell, whatever, cool. We understand what type of level player he is. Regardless of position, like it's whatever. Andrew Wiggins.
It's whatever.
Is Andrew Wiggins a part of you guys' list?
Yeah.
At all?
Yes.
Yeah, but he's higher than 13.
Okay, cool. Well, I put him at 13 just based off of like what the type of season that I saw him have. I'm not really like staying
He was
10
hurt all
toes
year.
down. Yeah, exactly. You know? Yeah, exactly. But if I'm thinking about
Dealing with
Andrew
stuff.
Wiggins, yes, of course. But if I'm thinking of the type of player that Andrew Wiggins is at peak efficiency of basketball, you can definitely sway me that, like, yo, he should be in the top 10 list. And that's perfectly fair. OG Anunoby, I don't really need to say too much. I think you had him in the same range as Donovan. I mean, I think I had him on the same range as you guys. And then Scotty Barnes. Maybe it's me projecting.
It's projecting, I'll tell you that.
Maybe it's me projecting. Maybe it's me seeing the situation that he's in and telling myself this is not really optimal for him. But if he was in an optimal situation, similar to how you feel about OG Anunoby, whatever, he'll be a lot better. Now, there are a lot
You
of
fell in love with
misconceptions
Scotty
about
Barnes.
his game. No, I didn't.
There's no world where Scotty was better than OG last year. That's crazy.
He was not a better player than OG last year. That is fair to
Said,
say.
bro,
I'm
you
not
weren't
dying.
watching like I was. I was tapped into TSN.
That's fair to say. That's fair to say. That's fair to say. That's fair to say. But this is just more so me, obviously projecting. So there's my list. Aside
Okay.
of Vassell and Scotty or whatever, is there any like red flags? Or
I
are
think-
those
Aside
I
from
think
two red
Wiggins at
flags. No,
13.
there's no red flags.
I think Wiggins at 13. Yellow flag, like orange.
Yeah.
I think he.
Yeah, I
should,
mean,
I think he should be
the
top
fact
10.
the fact that Scotty's 2 spots above Wiggins is a fucking rainbow flag. It's crazy.
Whoa, okay. Cut that.
Not what I meant.
Yeah.
It's all the colors.
Run that back. Run that back.
Yeah. Whoa.
We'll give you a second chance.
It's a bright red flag. There you go.
There you go. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what it says.
Let's go ahead and do my next 5.
All right.
At 10, I have Andrew Wiggins. At 9, I have Chris Middleton. This is where the stars start. At
Wow.
8, I have Brandon Ingram. 7, I have McCall Bridges. And 6, DeMar DeRozan.
Okay.
How are we feeling?
Okay. I
Bridges
have,
versus Ingram is a hard one.
I have the same.
Man.
I have the same 5, just in different order.
Okay,
So-
well, let's go into your next 5 before we even talk about them. Let's
Yeah.
do all of our 5s next, and then we'll talk about them all at once.
Ah, man, this is tough.
yeah.
Did you fuck up? What do you-
No, this is not tough. I mean, like, when it comes
Oh,
to
okay,
debating
gotcha,
certain
gotcha.
players. No, yeah.
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 Yes.
Yeah. So here's my 5. So I have Middleton at 10, Wiggins at 9, DeRozan at 8, BI at 7, and then Bridges at 6.
Woo.
I think Bridges is like that. I'm
I
completely.
have so much to say about this 5.
I am completely bought in to everything Mikal Bridges was showing in I think 27 games in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I'm completely bought in.
Okay. Let's do Mo's next 5, and then we'll talk about them all.
Good grief. All right.
Franz
don't know.
10.
Franz
Okay.
10, DeMar 9, Mikal Bridges 8, Chris Middleton 7, and Brandon Ingram 6.
We are all over the place. All 3 of us are so different.
Yeah, the
Okay.
biggest difference is the Mikal Bridges thing for me between you guys, from what I see off of it. But let's talk
I mean,
about
yeah,
it.
okay.
you have him the lowest, but you also have Chris Middleton the highest though. I won't lie. I had to back up off I had to back off the Chris Middleton hype train. Just the amount of injuries that he's had over the last 2 years and his inability to really
Very
get
fair.
back to where he was in 2021. That's why I had to drop him to 10. I can see him at 9, but it's just he's so important to what Milwaukee does, and he just wasn't able to get back to just like do the things that they needed him to do. His scoring is like inconsistent. His defense isn't all the way there again. So
Yeah,
it's
he was
like-
not good last year. He was very shell of
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah,
I
so-
give him a little benefit of the doubt just because the people behind him, OG and Wiggins, aren't like incredible. If there was somebody a little bit stronger there, I would have had them leapfrog Middleton, put him back to 10, maybe even 11 as well. It was more so there was just nobody there that earned to be above him. But I agree. He's definitely like if it's another year looking like last year, we're going to have to start asking some serious questions about this team's ceiling and his career going forward because he was not looking like the star he should be. I'm more interested in is DeMar DeRozan. You guys dropped him a good amount. I feel like he's still DeMar DeRozan. The team around him just sucks. They have Nikola Vucevic, Levine, no Lonzo. The team's ass, but he's still DeMar.
Even though he's still DeMar, I would very much rather have B.I. on my team, and I'd rather have Macau. I'd rather have probably Chris Middleton too.
How do you say his name? How do you say? Is it Macau?
I have no clue.
It's not Michael. It's Macau. Oh, it's
it's definitely not Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
I thought you were gonna say that, so I was like, okay.
Michael Bridges. I think it's Mikhail, but I'm not really sure. I say it's different every time.
Bridges.
I think I would definitely rather have DeMar than Ingram. I think Ingram's a little bit overrated.
Whoa. Wow.
Ingram is like, he looks the part more than he is the part, where he looks like he's like a true bred scorer. I'm like a true bred star, but like he has a good amount of flaws himself. What does he do better or more valuable than DeMar DeRozan?
Play make and shoot threes. They're both.
I don't think he's a better playmaker than DeMar DeRozan.
I think he's a better playmaker than DeMar DeRozan.
DeMar's a pretty good playmaker.
He's good,
he's
but
a better
like
scorer. Ingram's not out here slinging dimes. I mean, Ingram's a solid player.
Neither of them are slinging dimes necessarily. This is a mid-off that we're talking about right now.
Not a pro for Ingram. Yeah, like Ingram's not the defender he should be with his physical tools either. I just feel like he's a similar mold, but just like doesn't have the same ceiling as a scorer. Like I just feel like DeMar DeRozan slightly edges him out in most important ways. But the 3-point shooting is a thing, so I get that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think with DeMar, the thing for me is he had that really great season, not last year, but the year before, and it looked like, oh wow, like he's like that was the best season, at least offensively, that was the best season of his career, and so now he's back. Now he's back to just like regular DeMar DeRozan, and on a team with, like you said, with Vooch, with Lonzo out, with Zach LaVine in and out the lineup. I expected a little bit more offense from him in terms of just like getting buckets, and his average dropped like 4 points a game. And it's like, I wanted a little bit more. The playmaking was there. We've seen a couple steps from him trying to take more threes, trying to be, more willing to do that. So I appreciate that from him. But I think for BI, I don't know. I like BI's game. I think the fact that he does take more threes, that really is a big factor whenever I'm talking about which one would I want, because they are so similar and they are just like right there in the same tier.
Yeah,
it's not crazy.
The only thing that changed with DeMar is he took less shots. His efficiency was exactly the same. It's like a thing with Beal where it's like, whoa, he must be a way worse scorer now. He's washed because he's averaging 3 less points, but it's because he chose to take less shots, probably to get Zach LaVine more into things because he had an off year the year before last. And now this year he came back. He took a little more shots per game, probably trying to get Vooch back into it because they saw that DeMar taking 30 shots a game, whatever it was, not literally, wasn't going to be a route to success for them. So I don't hold it against them that they chose to go a different direction as a team. I think he's still just as good.
You gotta get them shots up, man. you gotta listen. You gotta look around and be like, hey, I'm playing with Ayu Dosunmu and Andre Drummond. Like, yeah, I'm taking these shots. You know what I'm saying?
Both of you guys have Bridges above BI, and I want to, know like what is up with that
defense
is Bridges.
I'm with Donovan on that. I truly believe that 27 game sample size we saw is going to be probably not exactly what he's going forward, because he was averaging 28 points per game with still being a really good defender. He's probably not going to do that for a whole year, but like 24 points per game, being not a playmaker though, but also a really good defender, I think that's totally possible, which puts him about the same level of score, a little bit better than Ingram, while being a miles better defender. To me, if you believe that version of Bridges is going to be who he is going forward, I think it's a no-brainer.
And I 100% do. I think that, and also with Mikhail, when we talk about this list, he is the most durable player on this list.
True.
Bar none. He plays
in the NBA
game. Yeah. He played 83 games last year because of the trade. Like he's playing overtime. Mikal Bridges is going to be there every single night, and Bi is going to miss games. DeMar's going to miss games. When you look at the lineup for the night, Mikal Bridges is going to be there, and the fact that he can be, that two way three, and just like the leaps that he took, and we were already seeing it before the trade to Brooklyn, but the way that he like started navigating pick and rolls, just feeling much more comfortable with the ball in his hands, and then for him to instantly be like, oh wait, it's just me, I got it. Like I can score 20, I can score 27 a night. That's crazy to me. And listen, he didn't have the best playoff series. The Nets, listen, as a whole, like we knew what they were going to be, but I think that Brooklyn. One, I don't think that they're going to be super competitive. So I think at least numbers wise, Mikal's probably going to be around 25. Like I think 24, 25 is a very reasonable expectation from him. And do I think that he is going to be, DPOY caliber defense? No, because that would make him prime Kawhi Leonard. But like,
literally,
but he definitely, because of the leap that he took. Yeah, I want him over DeMar DeRozan. I want him over Brandon Ingram. Like he can just do so much more now, and I trust him.
Yeah, that's fair. I just need to see it for a full season sample size. Like it's not like I have him like outside of my top 10 or anything like that. Yeah. It's just like he's there. There's a very clear pathway to him being one of the best at his position, point blank. Period. But I just wanted to see it throughout a full sample size, and I don't want to say I didn't feel comfortable with it because I'm not going to war for Brandon Ingram ever. But I will say, like, when it comes to just showing the level of consistency of scoring, the playmaking, and just being a consistent force on offense ever since he got handed those keys, I need to see a little bit more from Mikal Bridges, and not
I do not. I will tell you this. This was my hardest decision in terms of where to put Mikal because I wanted to put him top 5. I legitimately
that's so crazy.
I wanted to do it so hard.
Relax.
I wanted to give him that respect because I genuinely believe that everything.
You're telling me you debated putting him above Paul George?
No.
Okay.
Okay. No.
That's not what we're talking about.
That's not why I debated.
Oh. Someone else.
Did you debate him over Jimmy Butler?
No.
Oh my God. Okay.
Let's just wait for it.
Drop the list. Drop the list. Drop mine first.
My next 5.
Drop mine first.
At 5, I have Paul George. At 4, I have Jimmy Butler. 3, Kawhi Leonard. 2, Jason Tatum. 1, LeBron James.
You just read off my list too, you bastard. Anyways.
Oh, you got the same one?
Oh, yeah, wow, that's crazy.
Bar for bar.
That's crazy.
Okay, let's see yours, Donovan.
At 5, I have Kawhi Leonard. At 4, I have Paul George. 3, I have Jimmy Butler. 2, I have LeBron. And 1, I have Jason Tatum. I think that for Kawhi and Paul George, the fact that they cannot play bothers me, right? Like, am I the only one who's frustrated that these guys can't play, that they're going to miss half the season every single year? And for Kawhi, the reason why I put Kawhi over Mikal is just the fact that, like, when he's out there, he is fantastic. But his knees are going to fall off the bone every single year. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you rest him he could not play from October to April. And in game 1 of the first round, his knee's gonna blow out. He's not gonna be there. And so his durability is so bad and the load management is so frustrating. And it hinders him and Paul George. Hinders so much of what the Clippers can do and hinders so much of how much chemistry that they can build. I can't have them top 3 when they're just not reliable. They just aren't on the floor. And so I'll put Paul George there because he's slightly more available than Kawhi, but they frustrate me so much. And so I'm not giving them top 3 at all.
I think you're outlining the exact difference here. You're picking off frustration, and I don't get as worked up about that because I don't care.
You don't care.
I don't care. Wow.
But I say that because it's just a different discussion. I'm not trying to rank like who. Going off of that is going too hard off of results, which sounds crazy because you play the game for results. But I think process matters more.
There's no process with them though. They don't play enough for a process to be had.
Rankings, like it's easy to be like, oh, he was hurt, so he's worse. But like injuries are such a part of the game, and so much randomness a lot of the times. Like Kawhi, degenerative knee issue, so he's always hurt, so I get it. But a lot of times, like a lot of stars get hurt. Sometimes a few years in a row you get unlucky. It happens. I'm not trying to rank who's the most available. I'm trying to rank who's the best players. So to a certain extent, I detach from that because it's almost like picking somebody to be number one just because they won the championship. Like you're just picking the guy who had the results. It's easy to, or just like, it's almost like you're ranking off points per game. Like, yeah, we can all read who scored the most points per game and rank them, but I don't think that's valuable at all to strictly just go off of what happened when you can apply some context into that. And it's not what I'm not trying to rank the most available.
They don't have, one, I think for me, like one of the differences is like, the durability is the tiebreaker in this sense.
That's fine.
And it's the tiebreaker from 6 to 4. And also, again, they don't have a process. They don't have results. They don't have anything to where we can look at them and actually have a legitimate sample size because they're playing 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. They don't play in the playoffs. And again, because they don't play, that entire team, that entire franchise is held hostage. They don't know what to do. They don't have a plan forward. And it's because of them, right? I'm not saying like that nobody actively tries to get hurt, but it's their fault that the Clippers are in the situation that they are because they can't play.
Unlucky shit happens. Like, I don't know. You're right. Like, Kawhi has an issue. It's degenerative issue in his knees. We know he has injury problems. So I get it. But like, a lot of these players have injuries. Like, just been times where Jimmy missed a lot of games. He just got lucky that he had a healthy playoff run until he didn't. Like, it's like, and then there's so many small things can swing these things either way that I'm not gonna. If it's a tiebreaker, that's fine. I get it. I'm not gonna be mad at picking Jimmy Butler over them. Jimmy Butler just had some incredible shit happen. So I'm not gonna die on this hill with them. But I just mean in general, when we're talking about injuries, we see on different lists sometimes where players like a Kawhi, like Anthony Davis, like whoever you choose to pick, get dinged a lot for being hurt. And I just feel like we pick and choose who we hold these standards to based off of which one's more annoying, not necessarily which one's like empirically more valuable. You know what I mean?
I think a great
but in this instance, I get it because it's Jimmy Butler, so it's fine.
But even with AD, like one of the main reasons.
Oh my god.
No, hold on. I'm not even about to bash him. One of the main reasons why I didn't believe in the Lakers going into the playoffs was because he hadn't shown for a while that he could stay healthy, and then he did. And so it's like, okay, like. And you were saying all year, he's just had some unlucky stuff. Like it's like that sometimes. Okay, fine. And listen, we'll see next year if that was truly the thing. Paul George has played 48 games, 54 games, 31 games, and then 56 games. He, for nearly half a decade, has not been reliable.
No, I agree.
So it's not unlucky. It's not unlucky. This is who he is at this point.
Okay, well, part of that was on purpose. They're doing a load matching thing to be available for the playoffs. And like we saw this year, he was available in the playoffs. It worked. He was available. It was Kawhi that wasn't. And I agree. For a team building perspective, when you're dealing with two of them that are like that.
No, Paul wasn't available.
Paul played in the playoffs. What do you mean?
Paul was not available.
Kawhi's the one that got hurt. Paul George was there, wasn't he?
No, Paul George missed the first round.
Yeah, he was hurt.
Am I tripping?
Yeah, you're tripping balls.
They both weren't there because Russ was out there carrying the team. They both weren't there.
You're right. That's and it's tough when you have two of them. It's hard, but you're right. So again, I'm not dying over this. Jimmy Butler over them is totally fair. It's Jimmy Butler, so that's why I'm not like going crazy. But like, so specifically, I'm really the one I have an issue with is Kawhi versus PG. Kawhi's just better. Like, they're both hurt. Kawhi's more hurt, so you have him lower. That's your tiebreaker, like you said. Sure. I just think that we're trying to gauge who's the best player whenever they're available, when they're, gauge them as a player. I don't necessarily... Health is part of it, you're right. Like, that's why Kawhi is behind Jason Tatum for me. Because, when they're if everybody's healthy 100% of the time, of course Kawhi's a better player, but he's not healthy. So I think it just has to do with how much we're weighing it. That it's a bigger deal for you than just for me because I give more benefit of the doubt. But again, I'm not... Jimmy Butler going over them is fine.
I mean, yeah, if somebody's falling on your ankle, that's fine. But when your knee just can't stay together, no matter how many braces you put on, that's just who you are. It's like,
no, I agree. Yeah, for sure. Kawhi is like, it's a degenerative issue that's going to be a problem forever, so I totally understand.
Yeah, for sure. When it comes to your list, Donovan, your reasoning behind that, I understand and I agree with you to a certain extent. Things just change, expectations change, and like this conversation changes when you're involving health, rankings, and all that. Like when it comes to having, for example, Chris Middleton on our list and stuff like that. Or at least I had him in different places compared to you guys because of health reasons, you know? And when you're talking about Kawhi Leonard specifically, like the conversation is different, even though like similar sentiment applies or whatever, you know? I think that just overall expectation, consistency, and all that is just where we see the big differences. And I'm not mad at it. I can understand it. My thing is when Kawhi Leonard is there, like I know exactly what he is and what he's going to do. And there hasn't been a second where he hasn't proven that whatsoever. And you can say similar things about Paul George as well. But overall, I feel pretty comfortable and confident with like, if he's not on the court a lot because of a bunch of misfortune and stuff like that. But when he is on the court, he's that dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think in general, like, this isn't the right conversation to make the point I'm making because, like I said, it's very understandable for this list to put Jimmy there above PG and Kawhi because of his injury issues. As a tiebreaker, that's fine. I just think in general, over the last, it really is because of Anthony Davis and the fact that he's a Laker and it's a big part of narratives that the NBA world has become extremely critical of guys that get injured in a way that I think is like bad for how we talk about the game. Like, not necessarily you doing Ryan Donovan, but we all like become victim of this way these narratives work where we act like it's like a fault in these players, like they did something wrong, and we're just so extremely just negative about guys that get hurt a lot when really it is misfortune. It's a part of the game. It really what comes back with Anthony Davis. In the last 4 years, he's had 2 healthy years, 2 not healthy years. All that comes down to is did somebody fall on his knee awkwardly or not? Like there's so much variance in this type of stuff, and we treat it like it's not variance. You know what I mean? We act like it's something that's we act like it's equal to what they do on the court in terms of their skills when really it's just bad luck that's a risk at every single corner for every player. Like if KD was on this list, we'd have him high. He's also been hurt in very detrimental times over the last 5 years. You know what I mean? Like we pick and choose how we apply these things, and I think it's just a weird thing that's become more prevalent over the last like 3 or 4 years.
I mean, listen, KD would be sliding on my list. He would be sliding because he can't play. He can't play.
Yeah. And listen, if that's a part of your criteria, that's fine. Like availability is important, just not necessarily for the way I'm thinking about this list, but I understand in terms of value.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing that I like to emphasize too is like when it comes to just the game of basketball and quite literally every aspect, luck is a major factor and it's important. Like, you know, like we had, when we're going to look back at like someone like CP3's career, you know, he had quite possibly like one of the worst luck we've ever seen
from that happens every
point
year.
guard of his caliber. Quite literally every year. And because of that, like no one's ever going to his ranking is not in my mind where his game speaks to, you know? And
yeah, I get that.
That's just part of luck. Luck is a part of the game. You have to have luck in order to be where you have to have luck in order to be in the upper echelon of the NBA overall, you know? So I'm not mad at it all. I can understand it. I don't have the same values necessarily as you, Donovan, but you have very valid points and, you know, like it's solid.
Yeah, for this argument, it makes total sense. It's just like, it's like I said, it's so lucky. Like the difference between this year for the Lakers and 2021 was that somebody fell on AD's knee at the end of the regular season. He missed the playoffs, and this year he didn't. Like it's shit like that can swing narratives so hard that it's always tricky when we're discussing injuries. But with that being said, that is not the case with Kawhi and PG. They're detrimentally hurt all the time, so I totally understand. But like, see, I understand that as far as putting Jimmy Butler above them. But if you didn't do this, but if you were to put Bridges over Kawhi, then I would be like, come fucking on. Like, let's give him credit for what he does when he's on the court. But I can't be mad at Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
We are ignoring the biggest elephant in the room right now is that Donovan has Jason Tatum at number 1, and we both have LeBron.
It's for the same reason. At all. It's probably for the same reason. Health.
Yeah, let us know why you have Tatum number 1.
Right now, I think Tatum is a better scorer than LeBron.
Okay.
That's
not crazy to say.
I think that he's there and he's made the jump. I think for him, one of the things that like we wanted to see him do, and he was doing it a lot early in the season, and then as the season like went on, and kind of like, you know, went in and out. But Tatum getting to the free throw line consistently was a big part of why he started averaging 30 points a game this year. And so I think him being able to put that pressure on the rim really has helped his offensive game take another step. So I think he's a better scorer than Brown right now. There's also a guy. I think defensively very comparable. I think LeBron. There was a stretch where like LeBron wasn't great defensively, but like
Tatum's a better defender. That's
but
fair.
like he's back. So like there's that, and then also at the same time, like Mo said, like yeah, it's kind of a tiebreaker, but he just plays more. He just like he played 20 games more, and LeBron is at a point where I don't, and it was really shown in the playoffs, and I've said this before, but LeBron is gonna give you what he has, and sometimes that means, hey, I'm gonna turn up in the second half. But like clockwork, I know, hey, if LeBron's getting 30 in the first half, go ahead.
This is the shit I hate.
Go ahead. Write that 9 in the second. Write that 9 points in the second half, and he's not gonna be there because he just can't do it. And it's like
I hate that. We're talking. This is all based on the recent playoffs, and this is
it's based on the whole year. It's based on the whole year,
that's just not true for the whole year. That's not true at all for the regular season pre-injury. And we're treating this. It's going back to what I said about we just go off of results and not using context when we talk about this. He was not healthy. He was dealing with a foot injury, and we talk about this like all things were equal, and he was just washed old man. He was not healthy by any means. You watch early season LeBron before he got hurt, just as good as he's been for the last 3 years. He was incredible. You could say he gets hurt more often now, sure, but it's not always stuff that he has to play through. And even in this case that he does get injured a lot more, we can't judge him on the court when he's playing through something that materially changes who he'll be next year.
The same amount of games that Kawhi, like LeBron played 3 more games than Paul George. He played 3 more games than Kawhi Leonard. And I'm looking at them, and to me, like that standard of you not playing, that applies to LeBron the last 4 years, right? He played 67 games, 45, 56, 55. He's not on the floor consistently enough for me to look at Jason Tatum, who played 74 last year and 76 the year before that, and to look at him and be like, okay, you're actually out on the floor every night, and you're averaging 30, and you're a better defender. Like you are the better player right now. That's how I get
the injury thing. I just mean whenever we're talking about like, I know he can't do it for 2 halves in a row, he's gonna burn out in the game. That's strictly based off this most recent playoffs, where he is a materially different player and he's gonna be going forward when he's actually healthy. And sure, he'll get hurt a lot and miss games. Fair. He won't always be playing through a foot injury that defines that playoff run and makes him a different player than he was before that, and he will be after that. I was
seeing it in the regular season, too.
He wasn't the same, though. He was averaging 30, and then he averaged 24 in the playoffs. Like, he was very different. Like, that was not a thing in the regular season at all. Like, the numbers bear it out in the most simple sense. He was averaging 30 points before he got hurt. Like, he was just as good as anybody else in the league.
And then what happened?
And he got hurt, which I said is a very valid point.
Which is now a consistent part of his game that you have to bake into every single year now. And
missing games is a thing. Missing games will be a part of him.
Exactly.
But playing with the foot injury that changes what he is when he's on the court is a different thing. That's where making those assumptions is, I think, just not indicative of who he is as a player going forward.
Just because he's playing through a foot injury, right? Like we both agree. Can we both agree on this? If he's playing through something, then he's still hurt, correct?
If he's playing through something, then he's hurt?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. LeBron gets hurt now. Like that's just
I agree.
And so that's all I'm saying. And so like if he misses the game, obviously that's worse. You would rather have LeBron at 50% on the floor than no LeBron at all. And I'm completely like, I understand that. But the fact that he does not get a pass just because he's on the floor. Like I'm not going to say like, oh, well, you were hurt, so it's okay that you're like at 50%. You are hurt and you can't do the things that you want to do. And so there's other people who are more healthy, who are just as talented, who are here right now, and that's Jason Tatum. And Jason Tatum is the best small forward in the league for those reasons.
No, yeah, I get that. And that's fair. I'm just saying that if you're picking him for help, like because he's available more often, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. The only problem is when you say things like, I know he can't be good for 2 halves in a row because he'll burn out because he's old. That specific, just focus on that assessment. That is purely off of the last playoffs where he didn't have the energy level because he was playing through the injury and had to muster everything out of him. That type of stuff won't be a thing when he's healthy. You could say that he won't always be healthy. Sure, he'll miss games like you're saying.
Valid.
It's just when we talk about best case scenario, you treat it like that is what he's going to be when he's actually healthy, and that's just not the case. Like those are two different things. You know what I mean?
And I'm saying that if the constant state for LeBron is that he's always hurt now, like then that's just what he is at this point. You know
Donovan literally just trying to figure out how to say things in the most hurtful way possible without it necessarily aligning with 110% his overall argument. I definitely understand you. I think it's a reach saying like, or mentioning how he's going to give you 30 one half and 9 the other half. There's context in between those things, and you can't just act like, you know what I'm saying, that shit didn't happen. But I mean, I can understand you, and I just think the way you're going about it is crazy. But overall, like, it's fine.
Yeah, I think picking Tatum is totally reasonable. I just think there's better reasons than LeBron got hurt this last playoffs. And the better answer is he's a just as good scorer and a better defender, better two-way player at this point of his career, and that you think that matters more than LeBron's better passing, especially when you account for the injuries. That's fine.
Which
totally better to say Tatum's better.
That's part of the package.
Yeah, that's fine. It's totally valid to pick
But
Tatum.
if we're talking about LeBron James,
Hate. You gotta throw an hate in there. That's what I'm saying.
I just think people are just so reactionary to the most recent playoff run when we talk about like every player ever. It's always like, what did you do this most recent playoffs? That's how I'm gonna rank you. And I hate that shit. Like a lot of people would have LeBron at like 5 or something on this list because what happened in the playoffs? He averaged 23. Clearly, he's much worse than he was before, and it's just never that simple.
Yeah,
nah,
bunch
he's
of
just
context
brittle
begin
now.
left behind.
He's just old.
Oh my goodness,
Fair.
bro.
This is what he is.
And he made it just as far as Jason Tatum did, nice and healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, if you want to tell me that, Tatum doesn't have that dog in him, so he can't be number 1. I'm cool. Like I get that, right? I understand that that's a part of the game, and that's a willing
dog is a part of the game.
Listen, that's a willing. That's why Jimmy Butler is here at 3. Jimmy Butler be missing games too, but for 2 months he's like, nah, I'm gonna get it done, and so now he's up to 3. Like his dog just overcomes a lot of the stuff.
His dog overcomes a lot of stuff, bro. Yeah,
It's crazy.
But that's the point, right? We don't shit on Jimmy Butler for missing games, but he does. And why
he turns
no one
into
derailed the
Michael
playoff
Jordan?
run?
Because he turns into Michael Jordan when the playoffs come, and it's like, oh, okay. Like,
And you know what derailed it? And what derailed his run this year? He got fucking hurt.
Elf.
And he wasn't the same for the last 2 rounds.
Yeah.
that was whack.
It happens.
yeah, exactly.
The only reason-
You could also go ahead and argue, the only reason why the Celtics didn't make the most impossible comeback in NBA history is because Jason Tatum got hurt during the Game 7. A lot of people forget about that. Had a fucked up ankle, So it's like,
Oh.
yeah, exactly.
Nah, that was crazy. First off, they should have never been in that position to start with. Listen, there's reasons. I'm not saying that it's crazy to put LeBron. There's reasons why Tatum shouldn't be number 1. I'm okay with it. I clearly understand that. I just think that like as we stand right now and as we stand moving forward, Tatum is at a point in his career where, like you said, he's a better scorer than LeBron. His defense is better and he's more available. And those 3 things combined mean more to me than what LeBron is offering right now.
Yeah,
That's
fine.
fair.
Makes sense. I think if it came down to it in a playoff series, all things being equal, I'd rather pick LeBron on my team. But it's so close at this point. It's close for the first time that I can't be mad at picking Tatum. But I'm going to give the edge to Braun just because, all the things that come with being LeBron, being the best playmaker on the court at all times, still being a great scorer when he's healthy, can turn it on defense and lock up, use his size effectively. The only reason I think it's a conversation is, like you said, because of the injuries. But I think when all things are equal, I'm still picking LeBron in most tangible ways. But I get it.
Okay.
Not a bad way about going against it, Donovan. I love the hating argument. It's always needed.
It's not even hating.
It is. Damn it! Stop lying. You know you're lying.
It's not. How's it hating? How's it hating? Did I say anything that was like literally untrue?
No, that's not.
Yes, yes, you did.
Well, I think he can only do it for 1 half. That's a little bit of hating. That's a little.
Yeah.
That's a little.
Yeah.
That's a little
That was hate.
Nah.
Yeah.
I disagree.
that talking point's a little ridiculous.
I disagree.
That is an example of one game in particular.
Yeah.
The last game he played. That's the only time that's ever happened.
No, that's not true. That's not true. The
last 4 games he played.
30, listen, the 30 and 9, yes. But the fact that like it was kind of like tracking Anthony Davis's points for the first two rounds where you're like,
oh my God.
we're like, listen, he scored 30, I know he's giving me 15 the next game. Like,
Yeah.
it just is what it is.
Yeah, I get it. Either way, like most people, if you polled it right now, LeBron would win because he's LeBron. But a lot of
Fanboys.
people would pick Jason Tatum. Like Jason Tatum is at the point where you can't be mad at him being number one. Like he's that good.
Yeah.
Like you said, just no dog. So I don't want to see
dog.
That's
it.
fair.
Negative
shit.
dog.
That's fair.
Y'all
That's
hear
okay.
that?
I think so. It's coming
What is
from.
it? What is it?
I hear Quasimodo with the Crayon Eater surrounding him, climbing up the tower, ringing the bell from the rooftop. It's TikTok
Shit.
time.
Let's get into it.
Oh shit! Yo, they're thirsty for that shit. Holy shit! Trying to drill into our doors.
Bootleg
Oh,
air
no.
horn was that?
As always, we're going to start with the draft. This time, we're going to do a draft of players who never won MVP. It can be current players, retired players. Only thing that matters is they don't have an MVP under their belt.
I
think
have
I had
to
first pick
bounce
last time.
back. I have to bounce back. The last couple drafts, I'm not gonna lie, I've been selling.
Yeah, you picked Bam Adebayo in the hottest draft. That was wild.
Listen. I've talked with my coaching staff. We've talked. I think I'm prepared for today's draft. Let's get into it.
I think it's Mo as first pick, Donovan as second pick, I have third pick. So let's draft NBA players. Let's draft NBA lineups with only players who never won an MVP. Who's number one?
This is gonna be tough. Number one. I hate that I'm doing this, but give me Luka Doncic. He's gonna win
Damn.
one, but give me Luka.
Damn, 1-1 Luka Doncic. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Listen, give me Dwayne Wade.
Ooh, okay.
Wait.
If you never won MVP,
Number
Did he
one.
wait? We're not counting Finals MVPs.
obviously not.
That's so lame, bro.
Come on now.
You knew we weren't counting Finals
Come
MVPs.
on now.
Get the fuck out of
Lame.
here.
Are we
That's so
counting?
lame.
For real.
Are we counting Eastern Conference and Western Conference MVP?
All-star MVPs? Be fucking for real.
Rising Stars games MVPs? Because I'm getting Deion
All right,
Waiters.
so,
I'm dead.
damn, you got Wade. That's tough. Okay.
I know what
So
you
first pick, give me Kawhi Leonard. This is the easy one.
mean. Okay.
Next one. This one's a little tough. I'm trying to think of position value here. Next pick, give me Dwight Howard.
Okay. Okay, that's good. I want to fill out my backcourt. Give me Chris Paul.
Ooh, okay.
Damn.
Chris Paul and D Wade. You're not starting with a lot of size. I'll say that.
Kawhi and Dwight Howard.
That's fine.
Damn,
I
bro.
got defense. Kawhi and Dwight.
Yeah,
is
Kawhi
locked
and
down.
Dwight Howard is a monstrous combo, bro. All right. Go ahead. Ah, man, this is so tough. But go ahead and give me Scottie Pippen.
Ooh,
Okay.
that's a good pick.
And then,
I was hoping
Rap-
you fell.
yeah, and then loop it up. Give me, I'm going a little bit small, but give me Dominique Wilkins too.
Okay, so you have your 1, 2, and 3. It's
Yep.
not that small.
All right, that's fine. Give me Anthony Davis.
I was hoping I could get both of them next to.
Damn.
No, I'm not letting you get that.
Damn, that's a good pick. So who do you have? You have Wade, CP3, and Anthony Davis.
Yep.
CP3 to AD lobs. Oh.
That's nasty.
And CP3 to D Wade lobs. Like I see the vision. You know what? I'm gonna go all in on defense. Give me Paul George the 2, and oh wait, no, I was gonna pick. I'm not gonna go in on defense. I was almost gonna pick Drake.
No,
but I forgot who else is
oh.
available.
Okay.
Paul George the 2. Then give me Chris Bosh at the 4.
I was thinking about that. He's on my list.
That's
good.
nice.
My team is
That's
huge.
nice. Whoa.
Okay.
Got girth.
Okay, so with my next pick, where do I want to go? Where do I want to go?
Cat.
Come on, man. Don't disrespect me. Don't disrespect me.
Every draft is cat.
That's what I'm saying. Give me Jason Tatum.
Ooh.
Wow.
Melo. Interesting. You're going to get
Wow.
roots.
That's so crazy.
I'm leaning in on defense this draft.
Okay, that's
Damn.
nice. That's nice. I like that. All right, so at my 5, give me Yao Ming, and then
Big Yao. I like it.
will I get in trouble for saying it like that? I don't know. It don't matter. But at
No.
my 4, go ahead and give me Carmelo Anthony.
Ooh, Donovan
Yeah.
didn't get him. He let him
There
fall
we
into
go.
your hands for the
Yeah.
first time.
Yeah, I'm doing a 3-tier dome. You should take this as a fence.
It's okay. It's okay. All right, I got to get a 5. Do I want to play AD at the 5? Go give me a 4. Go give me a natural 5.
Oh,
I'm gonna go give me another Nick. That's why I let Carmelo go. Give me Patrick Ewing at my 5.
That's
Ooh.
nice.
That's a very talented front court. Very talented front court.
That's hella
Okay.
nice.
Last pick. There's 2 point guards I gotta choose between. Which direction do I want to take this team? You know what? Give me the best defense ever crafted. Give me Jason Kidd.
Okay. That's
1,
nice.
2, 3, and 5. Lockdown defenders.
You could have had
That's
Gary
nice.
Payton. What do you mean best?
Yeah, I
defense
thought
ever?
you were going that way. I thought you were going that
Well,
way.
I also want a fucking star on offense. I want both.
Yeah, that's a nice
Kid
pick.
and Dame. I had to choose between Kid and Dame. That was a tough one.
Oh, I
You should have
forgot
picked
about
Dame.
that.
Damn.
I was gonna pick him.
You should have picked Dame
So I
for
have
sure.
Jason Kidd, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Chris Bosh, and Dwight Howard.
That's a big ass team, man. You just making me
It's
uncomfortable
huge.
right now.
All right.
Well, dangling.
I got CP3, Dwayne Wade, Jason Tatum, Anthony Davis, and Patrick Ewing.
That's
Nasty.
nice. That's nice. Yo, Tatum, AD, and Ewing
back.
is terrifying.
I'm back.
Yeah. I got Luca, Dominique Wilkins, Scottie Pippen, Melo, and Yao Ming. I don't necessarily
Okay.
love the fits with Melo
Yeah.
there,
So
but I did
first-
that
first
because
thoughts.
for disrespect.
first thoughts, you lost. That's one. Second thoughts, you also lost.
But who got better vibes?
I mean,
Ooh,
I don't
we're
even think
ranking
it's
vibes.
you. It's not you.
What?
Luka's a bad vibe to start with at the one. I'll say that.
Thank you.
Oh, let's relax. Recency bias, whatever, BO.
Listen, Scottie Pippen is having a terrible time in life right now. His vibes are
yeah, Scottie
horrendous.
Pippen's
Oh
not
my
either.
god, bro.
Horrendous.
Relax. Okay.
Melo does not bring good vibes either. I'll say that. Yeah, you have the worst vibes too.
Dude, I don't know. I have the worst vibes. Are you kidding me? What about Yao Ming?
He's
Sure,
cool.
you got
He's
Yao
cool.
Ming.
He's
That does a
cool.
lot for the vibes.
He put a smile to everybody's face.
All right, next thing we're gonna do, as always, a tier list. We're gonna tier out championship teams. We did this before. We're gonna do it again with different teams.
Okay.
10 of them for you guys. You know the drill by now. It's a tier list. We do this every week. So let's put these NBA championship teams into a tier list. First off, the 96 Bulls.
S tier
S.
championship team.
Easy.
One
They
of
set the
greatest
bar.
of all time.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Got to get them out of the way so we know where the S tier stands.
Thank you.
Yeah. No
Set the
conversation
standard.
needs to be had.
Next up, the 2001 Lakers. Are they also S tier?
Also S tier.
They should be S.
They
was a
lost
monster
one
duo.
game. They lost one game.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Please.
Untouchable,
You
bro.
have that video on Twitter that goes around of Shaq and Kobe going crazy every time.
Yeah.
That's peak 01 Lakers.
Yep.
Yeah. Vibes are
Both these
outrageous,
teams are
bro.
the two. Exactly. These two teams probably have the best duos in NBA history.
Easily.
All right, next up, the 2020 Lakers.
This tier,
I
you
mean-
started off so high, and now we're dropping off a couple tiers, and I'm
Yep.
thinking maybe C.
Not C.
I was thinking
Not
B.
C.
I think
I was
it
gonna
was
say
B.
B.
B?
Yeah.
They
I
were
think
the number one
C's-
seed. Like going into the year, they were really dominant. They didn't lose games if they were up. Like
True.
after the third quarter, LeBron was still healthy. AD was healthy. AD had a jumper. Like,
Yeah.
they're good.
Yeah, you had an elite defense, the best player alive, still damn near at the peak of his powers, with arguably the best version of any teammate he's ever had in that single season run of AD. I think it's at least B.
I'm going B.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I'm not going to go tooth and nail with that. I think B is fair. But, man, that's
But
such
is it a
steep
Mickey
decline
Mouse
now.
ring? Is
Oh
it
my
a Mickey
God.
Mouse ring? Are we putting it in C for that
Next,
reason?
2015 Warriors.
Oh, this is D. D or C.
Ooh, D.
Yeah,
D's,
D or C.
Ooh, D is harsh.
D or
Come on
C.
now.
C.
I'll
Okay,
say
I'll say
C.
C.
I'll say C. They won like 67 games. They were great. Like, it's easy to say they're not a high quality championship because they beat LeBron when he was really injured with his no teammates. But they would have won either way, I think, that year.
I don't know if they would have won it either way. But anyways, like, regardless of the fact, this is the worst version of the Warriors, which is insane to say. And like looking at their roster, the whole strength and numbers thing was beautiful basketball. But when you're comparing them to powerhouses like both of these Laker teams, the Bulls, of course. Like it's clear as day. This is one of like not the best. This is not the best championship team.
I mean, I don't know. Listen,
fair.
I don't know if Danny Green could have held Leandro Barbosa.
Oh my god.
I don't know.
Maurice Spates.
That's what I'm saying. Mo buckets. Come on.
Peak Sean Livingston. Those
Oh my
9
God.
points a game were backbreakers.
Come on.
Oh
Andrew
my God,
Bogut
bro.
still jumping?
Bro,
This is a squad. This is a squad.
don't get me started on Pete Harrison Barnes.
Easily one of the most irritating teams too. Festus Ezeli coming off the bench and giving other teams fits. Damn.
Oh my God, Festus Ezeli. How could I forget?
Wow. What a guy.
All right, next up, 2023 Nuggets. The hard one.
This is
This is
B.
weird.
A or B? Are they better than 2020 Lakers?
Oh, this
No.
is so tough, man.
If they are, they're just barely better. So I feel like they might be in the same tier.
This is tough.
I think
This is
they're a
hard.
B. I think they're a B. It's hard,
I think,
but
yeah. I think maybe B for now, but I won't be shocked if you look back in a few years and realize they were A.
I'm gonna go
man.
A. I'm gonna go A. I think having Nikola Jokic at his like apex right now, and we don't even know if it's his apex, but like at the peak,
Probably.
maybe right. But like you have a guy who was snubbed for MVP, average a triple double, and when you have that centering your offense, everything else is good. Jamal Murray was on fire. Michael Porter Jr. was good all year. They lost 4 games in the entire playoff run. Like probably has to be an A.
They made it look
Yeah.
easy. Like that was one of the most sweatless finals runs you've ever seen.
Yeah, and
There's
there was
never
a
a doubt.
certain.
I'm going
and
A.
there was a certain no, actually, and there actually was a doubt for the Denver Nuggets too. Once the whole KD thing happened, everyone was like, "Oh, like this is the team." A lot of people, including us, like
Oh, for
had
sure.
a lot of our money onto them.
Y'all.
So it may
Yeah, but
be
once
an
the
A.
playoffs started, every matchup they had, nobody thought they were going to lose once the series started.
Yeah, exactly. So
Or not even
am-
that. Yeah, just they never were at risk of losing in terms of what was happening on the court. We thought things prior going into it, but once the game started, they never struggled.
are we talking ourselves into an A right now? Let's do it.
I think we are. They're an A.
I picked A.
Let's do it.
A it is.
That's nice.
The 2013 Miami Heat.
Also A tier.
Ah,
Also A tier just because of how great LeBron was.
They can't go into S. They can't cross that threshold.
they can't go
'cause,
into
like,
S.
If
nah.
you said 2012, because D Wade's knees were like just starting
Okay,
to give out.
2012 Heat. 2012 Heat.
S tier.
Ooh.
S
Ooh.
tier. S tier. The shooting that they had, the shooting that they had, Chris Bosh like playing that 5, them kind of moving into like this new small ball era. You know, they were able to catch the whole league off guard, like not off guard, whatever, but like
Yeah.
I think them, and also defensively, they were a team where they were able to like they could lock in for 5 minutes and blow the whole game open, and it would
Yeah.
just be a wrap. So I'm going S tier.
Wow.
Exactly. The ceiling was crazy. They had more variance than teams like the Lakers or Bulls, but their ceiling was as high as any team we've ever seen. Like I said, when they locked in, they were unfuckwittable. They're probably at the bottom of whatever the S tier is, but they're too good for A tier.
Okay, cool. That's okay. That's fair to say. I was gonna ask. I already know your answer, but 96 Bulls versus 2012 Heat. Who you got?
Yeah, the Bulls. The Bulls are just a more complete team with the team fit together better and had less holes than the Heat had. They were more
Yeah.
talent oriented rather than fit.
Yeah, absolutely. And as to what Donovan said back when they made those lineup adjustments and stuff like that, that was super early in the new era NBA that we're slutted out with today when it comes to the spacing and shit like that. So I agree. S tier,
Okay.
below tier, S tier.
The 2008 Celtics.
I hate that team so much.
We got to go B though. We have to go B. Their defense was also ridiculous. They were holding people
Yeah.
under. And listen, it was a different time, but they were holding people under 90 points a game. Like they were different defensively.
They were deep too. Like they had, like I said, the first big 3 of the modern era, 3 stars legitimately. Rondo was no slouch. Like they had the B at minimum.
B at minimum is fair, but easily one of the most annoying championship teams ever, bro. Ever. Paul Pierce over here claiming that he's better than D Wade.
Oh no, he's
Oh,
a
yeah.
wild boy.
Yeah, in terms of likability of talent, this is an F tier.
Yes.
But in terms of quality of players, it's a B tier.
Y'all better than me, man. I get in my emotions. I rank them. They're not even on the radar.
All right, next up, the 95 Rockets.
Damn.
This is a D tier. It's a
D. Okay.
They get actually this seems kind of mean because but they were coming back a lot. Like I think 95 is the year that that Clutch City got pinned on them because they were down in nearly every series, but Clyde Drexler was still good, but he wasn't Clyde Drexler and,
exactly.
And Hakeem. It's an okay team, but I still think that they get beat by a lot of these other ones.
That's what it comes down to, is that they have Hakeem, who is as good as any star ever, debatably, at that point. But 2 through 10, compare him to somebody at the 2015 Warriors, the supporting cast isn't quite as good. I don't think they'd be able to beat the other powerhouse champions of all time.
They get washed by Easton. I think they get not washed. I think that's a little bit disrespectful to say, but I don't think about it twice when it comes to matching up that team against a team like the Warriors or the Celtics or the Lakers, obviously. So, yeah.
Yeah.
They would have beat the Bulls, though. I will say that.
The Bulls?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Pre-Rodman Bulls. I think they beat them.
That's not crazy to say.
That's another
Next
conversation.
The 2011 Mavericks.
Oh, that's like a
I don't like these guys. F tier.
What?
I don't like Jason Terry.
Wow, dude.
It's D or low-key F.
It's an inspirational
run. No, it
run.
can't be F tier.
Yeah,
No,
it's an inspirational run, bro.
It's probably C tier just because of the run that they had to get there and the people that they knocked off.
I think talent-wise, they're very comparable to the 95 Rockets, I think. I think they're closer to the Rockets than they are to the 2015 Warriors.
Wow, so we're putting them deep.
But they were knocking people. They knocked off. They swept Kobe that year, and they beat Durant in 5 games. They were
5
games
quick
is
crazy.
I can't remember if it was 5 games. I think it was quick, but they were quick.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms, if you're gauging the impressiveness of their run, sure, but that run's only so impressive because they weren't that talented compared to these other teams. If they were as talented as other teams, they would have did what they're supposed to do. But it was impressive because they were not supposed to be doing this shit with Jason Terry, Jason Kidd, and
Deshaun Stevenson,
Shawn Marion.
Yeah,
Shawn Marion, Tyson Chandler.
I think it's got to be D. Same logic as the Rockets.
JJ Barea.
Dallas, I got you in my heart. You will see in my heart.
That's terrible.
Next up, the 2010 Lakers.
This is kind of hard to rank.
Yep, Kobe and Gasol champions.
Is this there? It's not an A.
No.
So it has to be a B.
Probably a C
or a C.
I'm thinking a C.
I'll say C.
They're not an all-time defense or an all-time offense, so they're not someone like the Celtics who have that one unit you can point to as being one of the best of all time. And it's not the best version of Kobe either. They don't have the top tier player at his peak, like the Nuggets do with Jokic.
They just got it done.
Yeah, they got it done. Who was in front of them? They beat who was in front of them.
Man,
yeah,
not a particularly remarkable team.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I ain't gonna argue about that at all. See,
nice. Look at this list we got. So we got S tier is the Bulls, Lakers, and Heat. A tier is the Nuggets. B tier is the Lakers and Celtics. C tier is the Warriors and Lakers. And D tier is the Rockets and Mavs.
A real quick question. Is there an F tier team that exists that's won a championship?
I was thinking that too.
If so, let's put them on a list.
Probably back in the day, teams from the 70s or some shit that just snuck one in. But nobody that comes to mind. I don't know. Is the 2004 Pistons an F tier?
Shit.
Nah, you got to go D tier.
Do we? Why?
Because for the same reason that we talk about the 08 Celtics, their defense is just that legendary, and it's that.
Yeah, but they also had KG and Pierce. If that team ran it back for 3 more years, would they get to the finals again?
That Pistons team.
Fuck no.
That Pistons team made the finals twice. Yeah, they made the finals twice. They made the conference finals 4 times. It wasn't just a one-time thing. They were legitimately good.
Right.
Ben Wallace is a Hall of Famer, 4-time DPOY. They have guys.
Look at this historian. Right. That is true.
Next video. Next thing, it's gonna be a long episode, y'all. We still got another 30 minutes in this bitch.
Woo.
Next video we're gonna do is we're gonna do another player draft where we build a player this time it's going to be building a point guard with only retired players. So
I did my
no
homework.
Dame, no Curry. It's a lot of names. A lot of the all-time great point guards are playing right now. So it's going to be kind
Exactly.
of difficult, more difficult than you think.
This list is you got to get creative with this list.
Yeah. I think the last one we did, I think I went second. Who went first last time?
I think I went
Donovan
first.
did. Donovan
Really?
went first because Donovan picked Booker passing first in the shooting guard draft.
No, you're lying.
Yeah, I had to get that off the board.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Booker
You're right.
passing first. So me first, Mo second, Donovan third.
Ha 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 ha. You guys are so funny. You guys are so funny.
So let's draft the perfect NBA point guard with only skills from retired players.
That's right where I want to be too. Third pick. This is good.
Gross.
First pick, give me Magic Johnson body.
I knew you were
Need
going
that
there.
frame.
I knew you were going there.
Yep.
Okay.
Need that build.
Predictable.
Nice. Real quick for the audio viewer or for the listeners, Isaac, what are the segments
True.
or what are the archetypes or whatever?
Mhm. We got body, shooting,
Yeah.
finishing, defense, and passing. You're slick.
Cool.
You said for the audio listeners, really was for you, but I'll let you have it.
I have mine right here, right in front
I'm
of
just
me.
kidding. I'm kidding.
So
Listen, I'm glad you said that because I thought instead of finishing we were doing handles this week. So thank you.
you just pulled it.
Okay.
It makes sense why you think that.
okay. So you said body for Magic Johnson. He got a lot of bodies. Whoa. I didn't
Oh
mean
my
it like
God.
that.
This guy is crazy.
I didn't mean it like that. My mind
How
was
else
like
could you mean it?
steering towards that way. I meant to say he had a lot of body, not bodies. But
No,
then my
you
mind was
didn't.
like,
No, you didn't. You were
There's
making
no
the
other way to do
Interception.
You were making the joke. Stand on it.
you caught
your
me,
pick.
you caught me, whatever.
Make
whatever,
your
whatever.
pick.
Whatever, right? So for passing, there's a lot of great options. Go ahead and give me. I just stumped myself mentally, bro, because there's so many fucking
Man,
good
stalling.
options.
Pick
But
a
give me
pass, pick a
Jason
pass.
Kidd, whatever. Give me Jason Kidd.
All right, that's cool. Okay, if we're a point guard, let's do this. First off, give me defense. Give me Gary Payton defense.
That's a great
Nice.
pick.
And then for rebounding, give me.
Rebounding
There's
is
no
not
rebounding.
Dang, I had that written down. My bad. My bad.
Why the fuck
all
would you
good.
write that rebounding? We've never done that.
I don't know. All right, and then for body, give me Penny Hardaway.
Okay, Penny's a good pick. There's only two really tall all-time great point guards, so we got them both.
Damn.
Like I'm mad I didn't get Gary Payton. Gary Payton's a big advantage.
Yeah, that sucks.
6'9"
for me, man.
lockdown. Yeah, we're good.
6'7", but yeah.
That reeks. Okay, so for shooting,
6'9" issues.
go ahead and give me. Go ahead and give me Steve Nash.
For shooting, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna pick. I gotta delete the guys you picked off my list. There's a lot of options here. For shooting, give me Steve Kerr.
What?
Ah,
No Gilbert Arenas?
Give me Steve Kerr. I'm just saying, Steve Kerr. Gilbert is actually on my list towards the bottom.
Yeah.
And then so I got shooting, I got body, I need finishing, defense, and passing. I'm gonna bet one of these. Actually, you know what? I'll just take them now. For defense, give me Walt Frazier.
that's good.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Lockdown
fine.
at 6'9". Oof. I
That's
fixed
fine.
Magic's one weakness.
Okay. So for finishing, go ahead and give me Baron Davis. High flyer. I need it.
Okay.
I
I
not a bad
need
pick at all.
it.
I like that.
I wasn't even thinking about him. That's a good pick.
Yeah. I need it.
For shooting, it's gonna be a deep cut either way.
Oh my God, bro.
It's gonna be something crazy.
I'm gonna just do it because I want to say his name. Give me Mahmoud Abdul Rauf for shooting.
Oh, that's nice. That's hard. That's
That's a
hard.
nice deep cut.
let me get him for shooting.
Respect.
Got the off the dribble back. I
Respect.
like it.
Yep. And
Respect
then
the OG Curry.
yep. And then for finishing, give me Isaiah Thomas. OG,
Damn, I was gonna pick him next.
OG Isaiah Thomas.
That's a steal.
Nice. Okay.
That was
so,
my next pick. Fuck.
all
I
right.
think I'm here.
Guys,
I
I think I'm here.
I'm proud of myself.
All right. So for defense, give me Chauncey Billups. Underrated. A lot of people forget
Okay.
about that name. Yeah.
My turn. All right, guys. I'm gonna pick the steal of the draft here. Give me Kevin Johnson for finishing.
That's good.
You
That's
want to talk
good.
about a high flyer One of the best point guard dunkers of all time. Slept
That's
on.
good.
Baron Davis catching more highlights than him, boy.
All
All
I
right.
got left is passing. Give me the all-time assist leader, John Stockton.
Lame, phony assists, fake stats.
Make assist.
Get your shots.
Not my favorite person, but
Yeah.
for passing skills, I'll take him.
That's cool. You got
He's
it.
not taboo like his teammate is.
Gross.
He's close.
He's trying to make himself
Ugh.
taboo.
He's trying to. He's close.
So they are partners for life.
One more discretion, and I might have to put him on the list. He might join Mr. Bridges and Mr. Nasty Man.
Oh, I'm dead. Mr. Nasty, man.
Your
Okay.
turn, Mo.
All right. So, for body, I'm kind of running short on this. But,
Literally.
yeah, for the sake of vibes, give me Sean Livingston. He ain't the
Okay, got the
fastest
other
out
tall
here.
guy.
He big as hell, and you going to feel him when he's up on you, bro.
He's big as hell.
Yeah.
That's funny. All right, for passing, yeah, let's go here. Give me Rajon Rondo for passing.
I knew you were gonna pick that.
W.
That's a good
Yeah.
pick. That's
Take
what I would have
W.
picked.
It's an amazing
Nice.
pick. 2 points,
All right, so I
25
got-
assists.
Oh yeah, my guy's
Crazy.
a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
My guy's
They're
a
all
Hall of
Hall of Famers?
Famer.
Yeah.
These are all the best players of all time. I have
I'm in the inner
Magic
circle of the Hall
Johnson's
of
body. Magic Johnson's body. I'm large. Steve Kerr's shooting. Kevin Johnson's finishing. John Stockton passing. And Walt Frazier defense.
Go watch your highlights. Go watch
I
your
was just-
highlights. Know
I
who
was just
Isaac's
about to
talking
say.
about.
I
was
picked
just
straight
about to
geezers.
say.
The comments aren't going to love my player because they don't know shit about Kevin Johnson or Steve Kerr or Walt Frazier for that matter. But my player's nasty.
For body, I got Sean Livingston. Shooting, Steve Nash. Finishing, Baron Davis. Passing, Jason Kidd. And defense, Chauncey Billups. We got a lot of old head
Okay.
names.
Well, they're all retired. They're all old.
Yeah, I know. This TikTok might not do it now I'm thinking about it. Bane.
This kid's going to be who?
Yeah. If it's on
All
the
right.
mellow ball, what?
Thanks. All right, for body, I have Penny Hardaway. Shooting, Mahmoud Abdul Rauf. Finishing, I have OG Isaiah Thomas. Passing, I have Rajon Rondo. Bro, the kid was freaking laughing. Threw me off.
Oh
He
my
was
god.
laughing at me. All right. All right, for pass.
God.
Yo, for y'all who don't know, if I remember to put it in there, I'm gonna put his audio in there. But our producer Nikhil, his
Bro.
mic wasn't muted, so he's sitting there giggling, and Donovan's hearing him laugh.
Bro, I just in my it's in my ear just laughing.
Giggling.
No, he's not laughing.
Yeah.
He's giggling.
Getting made fun of. All right, finishing OG Isaiah Thomas, passing Rajon Rondo, defense Gary Payton. My guy is the best player out of all of ours. I won.
I don't know about that.
I won.
I'm large.
I am too.
Imagine my guy's 6'9".
That's a yeah.
That tone of voice was crazy.
That's
That wasn't good. I
that's the
apologize for the
nastiest
audio
voice I've
listeners.
bro.
ever heard. Most.
That was not
Time.
ironic.
I'm so sorry to the audio listeners.
Me too.
Sorry.
He was moving his shoulders with it.
I shouldn't have said that.
Sassy ass.
Yeah.
All right. Next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna stick on the topic of point guards. I'm gonna list some NBA teams, and you guys have to list who the best point guard in their team history is.
Okay.
So this will be interesting. We're gonna go through 10 teams. Let's get this.
I love this.
Who is the best point guard in this NBA team's history? First off, the Atlanta Hawks.
It's gonna be
Trae
Trae
Young. Straight up.
Yeah.
I think it's too early to say Trey already. It will be, but might be a little early as is.
Who's your other option?
Is
Pistol
it
Pete.
Pete Maravich?
We don't care.
Yeah.
It's straight. It's straight.
He knew the other option. He's an ass. I'm gonna say Trey.
No Doc Rivers?
Let's be for real. Come on now.
He's a one-time All-Star.
Hell nah. Gross.
Word? He made an All-Star team one time?
Yeah.
Wow.
You
Wow.
didn't
I
know
did.
that?
No, I actually didn't.
1988.
Wow.
14 points, 9.3 assists.
Gross.
Look at that. Look at that.
Okay, Doc.
Look at Doc. I see you, Doc. I see it. Okay. That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
Respect.
I'm dead.
But it's Trae Young though. Okay. The Boston Celtics.
We can't give this to Bob.
Why not?
Dude,
What's wrong with Bob?
Like, bro.
What's wrong with Bob?
the way my
was
eyes
Bob.
went wide open just to think about this shit, I'm like, damn, it might be Bob.
I don't want to though.
Mo said, "Is it Marcus Smart?"
I'm worried.
No, it's Bob Cousy. I mean, I guess honorable mention could be Rajon Rondo, but it's Bob Cousy pretty easily.
I mean, it's
think.
either Rondo, Dennis Johnson. All right, fine.
Listen,
fine.
I want to say Rondo, but whatever.
We'll give Cousy the nod.
I saw some highlights of Bob Cousy recently. I think it was Jokic Joestar on Twitter was showing his highlights. That man could actually pass. It was kind of crazy. I was watching him run up down the court. The passes he was making were kind of nuts, actually.
Oh.
Granted, playing against substitute teachers, but that man could pass.
Isaac, we just gained one new hater. Thank you.
Next up, the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh, this is easy. This is Jason
Yeah.
Kidd.
Yeah, Jason.
Hands
Kidd.
down.
Ooh, who's second? Who was even no Darren Williams?
Oh, Darren Williams
No.
should
I mean,
be
he's
in the
not the
for a second.
Nah,
but it's
he
Jason
was
Kidd.
washed when he got there, though.
Yeah,
Not washed, but he wasn't. His best years weren't with the Nets, though.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's a nice name, though.
I think it's very clearly Jason Kidd.
No Kyrie Irving love.
That boy gave them straight hell and turmoil.
That man ruined Josiah's life.
Yeah, good grief, man. Man had nightmares. Couldn't sleep. Couldn't spend a week without fucking Kyrie doing some shit. Yeah, nah.
That man. Listen, as far as accomplishments go, Kyrie did topple one of the most talented teams of all time single handedly. It was his own team, but he still did it.
See, that's messed up. But it's true.
Facts.
Nah, it's Jason Kidd though for sure. The Chicago Bulls.
It's Derrick Rose.
Yeah, it's
to the knees.
D-Rose. Yeah,
RP to the
D-Rose.
knees. It's Derrick Rose.
That one year does it? Is nobody else in competition?
Nah,
Yeah.
not even thinking about it.
Who do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I think you're right.
BJ
I don't even
Armstrong?
know. Shit, the fall off is crazy.
Kirk Heinrich? Nah.
Oh my goodness,
I'm
bro.
okay.
Steve Kerr?
And
I'm okay.
Name another point guard
Ron
who has
Harper?
a name. Name another point guard who has a song by Lil Pump. It's
Then
D-Rose.
Listen.
Easy.
Lonzo
Fair point.
Ball for the first 20 games of the-
Oh.
Legendary.
I think if you just look at Derrick Rose's October through January of 2011, that alone for a career would be enough to be number one on the Bulls list.
I agree.
Damn.
I agree. He was like that.
Linsanity would be enough to be second on this list.
Oh my god. Ooh.
The Cleveland Cavs.
Kyrie. Or is it
Yeah.
Mark Price? I want to say Kyrie though.
It's Kyrie. It's Kyrie
Think
over,
so?
over Mark Price. He got the
Yeah.
chip. He got the chip with LeBron.
Yeah.
And he hit the
Yeah.
shot. And he scored 41 in game 5. It's
Too many
Kyrie.
memorable moments, bro. Way too many memorable moments. Help uplift that organization when it really matters.
Yeah, but Kyrie did what, 7 years there?
20. No. Wait. When year
Six?
did he come in? 2011?
He
did
came in
6 years.
2011. He did 6 years there, yeah.
Okay. 6 years there. It's not the most longevity, but he does have the accomplishment of the chip, so I can rock with it.
The motion was there. Wasn't for long, but he damn near he had it.
Yeah.
Thank God LeBron came back.
Yeah. Yeah. If he didn't come back, we'd be
Dab
having
on
a
him.
completely different conversation.
The Dallas Mavericks.
Damn.
Is it
Listen.
Do you want to
Don't
say
do it.
Luca or
Is it Luka?
Listen.
Is it
The
Jason
incl-
Kidd?
So the first instinct is going to be to say Jason Kidd,
Yeah.
but
But he wasn't
Let me pull
Jason
up-
Kidd though.
yeah, exactly. Luca has played 5 years there, 4 first-team All-NBAs. I don't know any other player in their history besides Dirk that has 4 first-team All-NBAs.
All right.
So easy,
You sold me.
early
Like, it's
into his
not like-
career. Like there's
it's not
no
like their
conversation to
franchise
have.
It's not like their franchise is historically great. Like, you got it. You won.
Luka Doncic.
Easy convo.
Shout out Luca. Good job.
The Los Angeles Lakers.
Magic.
All right.
What?
I know what you guys are thinking. You're thinking Derek Fisher. But I'm gonna go D'Angelo Russell.
I was thinking about Steve Blake, but
Fair point.
right?
But I mean, 2017 Lonzo Ball has a claim. I don't know if we're gonna give it to him because of health, but he's in the conversation.
See,
At least.
you're thinking Lonzo. I'm thinking Alex Caruso.
Oh fuck!
He changed
How
the
could I
game.
overlook Alex Caruso?
He changed the game.
You guys are forgetting about somebody from the 80s. You guys are forgetting about Norm Nixon, and I don't understand.
Who?
Focus, no, Nixon.
I don't understand.
You're disgusting.
He was
Gross,
the point guard
man.
He was the point guard before Magic got there.
I didn't even know that. All right, it's Magic Johnson. Next, the Hornets.
Kemba Walker. Is it you?
Am I a Hall of Famer?
Put respect on Kemba Walker's name, man.
Is it Kemba?
Yes, Kemba. You don't have
Yeah.
to think twice about it. It's Kemba.
Yeah.
Longest
They are
tenure,
a poverty
multiple
franchise.
All-Stars. I think, how many All-Stars have they had in their organization's history?
I mean, they've had a couple.
A couple.
They've had a couple.
Who?
Kemba, Alonzo Mourning, LaMelo Ball,
Larry
Muggsy Bogues
Johnson.
ever make an
Oh,
All-Star
LaMelo Ball.
game?
Yeah, no.
Larry Johnson.
It's Kemba.
Yeah, Larry Johnson. Larry Johnson's probably their best player ever.
Yeah.
right.
Speedy Meatball.
Last one, the Houston Rockets.
Is James Harden. Right?
Are you gonna call him a
We're
point
counting
guard
James
or
as a
what?
point for his entire career? Because he really like switched. It was like half and half.
I think most of James Harden's time there was a shooting guard.
I think
So we'll count him as shooting guard.
his best time was as a point guard though.
No, his best time was when he had CP and he won the MVP. He was a shooting guard. He was only a point guard for a couple of years before CP got there. So we'll count Harden as a 2. So outside of him. Is it those 2 years of Chris Paul?
Damn, CP3 feels weird as hell. Yeah, no, I'd rather put Harden, to be honest.
I'm
with
not.
you.
I'm
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Like you could say that like Harden played point guard or whatever.
Y'all
or
forget
shooting
about
guard or
Steve
whatever, but
Francis.
Let's not.
Is
do
it Steve
that.
Francis?
Steve Francis. I'm not gonna lie. Listen, the 2008-2009 Houston Rockets. Aaron Brooks was low key cooking. It's like he.
Oh my god,
Aaron Brooks
that is the deepest
working.
cut, dude.
Listen. I was watching those games on my 20. Listen, Aaron Brooks was doing something.
Let me see. How many years does Steve Francis play with this team? He played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Steve Francis played 3 All-Star games with this team. Is that better than what Chris Paul gave them in the 2 years?
Did Chris Paul make any?
Hell no, bro.
Yeah, Chris Paul, me too.
Almost beating that
Three is more
2018
than two.
Warriors team. No, hell no. Almost beating that 2018 Warriors team damn near deserves a banner within itself.
Oh, stop that.
Actually, no.
Well, let's
Houston
be
had
real.
Actually, Chris Paul didn't give them many All-Stars.
Yeah. So Steve Francis, congratulations.
Oh my god, bro.
You're the
CP3
best.
almost
Steve
beat.
Francis.
You're the best.
CP3 almost beat one of the greatest teams of all time. Give him his respect.
He didn't
Chris
do
Paul's greatest accomplishment in the Rockets uniform was choking. Congratulations.
You guys
it.
are
Chris
degenerates.
didn't. No. Chris didn't do that though, because he was hurt. Like he,
Oh,
like he
damn.
always
It was me.
is.
His greatest accomplishment was being not available. That's crazy.
He's not.
Damn.
Steve Francis, you are the GOAT.
I never thought I would see his
Up.
name in these convos.
All right, next thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you guys some graphics of starting fives for NBA teams, and you have to guess them based on the colleges they went to. We've done this
Let's do
before, but this time there's going to be a twist because there's going to be one missing.
Okay.
So there's going to be a
Playing
question mark.
games. Okay.
Yeah. Guess this NBA team based on where they went to college. First up, here we go.
This is the Sacramento Kings.
Hell no. This is your. Are you
This is
crazy?
not the Sacramento Kings.
This is the Oklahoma City Thunder. I only know that because that obscure
Oh, you
ass
are-
college that J-Dub went to.
Yeah, Santa Clara.
Yeah.
You're right,
I had to
you're
look
right.
at it. I'm like,
I
is that a
agree with
community college?
I saw Kentucky and Gonzaga. I immediately thought of Fox and Sabonis. I got.
You said,
Yeah, no.
Is that Last Chance U?
All the Santa Clara alumni finna be on our necks tomorrow.
All 6 of them? Great. Oh, no. Spare me. All right, next up, we got this one. Feel free to scroll. Who we got here?
This is
Oh, this is the Dallas Mavericks, correct?
This is Not the Dallas Mavericks.
Okay. If
I'm
it's not
losing
the
it.
Mavericks, is it the Boston Celtics?
It's not. Mostly because I lied, and this is the Dallas Mavericks.
Oh, you
I
ass.
told you.
Wait.
Had me doubting myself.
Kyrie, Duke.
That
Who went to
Tennessee is
Michigan?
Grant Williams.
Yep,
Ah.
Grant Williams. Is it projected lineups for next year?
But who went to Michigan?
Tim Hardaway Jr.
Oh, yeah. Damn.
Which, granted, Josh Green might start over him, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, whatever.
Next one. How about this team?
Wichita State. Oh, this is the Houston Rockets.
Damn, that was fast. It
Damn.
didn't even bother you if there was 2 question marks on this
Yeah.
one.
Because
Yeah.
there's like 2 players in the league from Wichita State. So, like,
Yeah.
Fred VanVleet's one of them.
Who's the other one?
Auburn is Jabari Smith Jr., then Oregon is Dylan Brooks.
No, I'm saying what other player went to Wichita?
I don't know.
State?
We don't keep up with them like that.
Oh man.
Assume there's one more.
I just said it
Yeah.
earlier. There could
Okay.
there could be 10 people in the league from Wichita State I wouldn't know.
Ron
Damn.
Baker?
He's
Ugh.
not. Listen, Knicks legend Ron Baker, he's not there anymore. Clay Anthony
I'm
Early,
dead. Ew.
a name.
All right, next one. How about this team?
Oh, this is the Golden State Warriors. You got Draymond.
Damn, y'all gotta talk through it. Talk through it. It's a
Yeah.
y'all just
Wow.
get
I
it
can't.
right.
I can't. I know this too well.
Yeah.
This isn't.
Damn.
This isn't hard for me. I can't just
I
manufacture.
was stumped
fake
for
talk.
I was stumped for a second with Clay's college.
Yeah, Clay went to Washington State.
Yeah, bro. That's so forgettable for me, bro. It doesn't even feel real.
Yeah, yeah, that's one. If you know where Clay went, you get this instantly. If you don't know, you're gonna struggle.
Yeah, exactly.
Next one. How about this team? Talk through it.
This
Don't just sit there.
Oh, I gotta. Talk
Ohio
through it.
State.
I have to make up some stuff. I
UGA.
gotta know. This
There's
is
only
the Minnesota
2
Timberwolves.
players. Yeah, there's only 2 players in the NBA, or 3 players in the NBA who went to UGA. That's Nick Claxton. There's KCP, and then there's Anthony Edwards. Has to be the T-Wolves.
Nice. We've already
That's for the
established
TikTok.
team.
Yeah, it's for
Next
the
one.
TikTok.
Last up. Damn.
Oh,
Last up.
it either has to be Nick
Colorado.
Claxton or KCP, and I'm leaning Nick Claxton, Villanova.
Yeah.
Terrible
Has to be Kyle
delivery.
Bridges.
Horrible delivery.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know it was fucking
It
ass.
has to be Nick Claxton.
I have no idea who went to Colorado, but I know that Mikal Bridges went to Villanova, and I'm taking him. So I'm taking the Brooklyn
Yeah.
Nets.
Who the hell went to Colorado? Who is that guard?
Spencer Dinwiddie.
He went to Colorado.
I've never seen one college highlight of Spencer
Dang.
Dinwiddie in my life.
He had no offers like that. He had no motion. That's crazy.
Damn.
That's
Bro was
crazy.
posted in Boulder.
Yeah, man.
Just him
God.
and Derek White playing mad games of Madden. That's crazy. That's it.
Above each other.
Yeah, nah, man. Damn, Spencer.
All right, we got one more video before we get out of here in this long ass pod. Donovan, I think you have some names that we're gonna blind rank.
That's right. How many? What do
Hit
I
us
have?
with the
I have 5.
rank these NBA players without knowing who's next.
Bro.
All right. Y'all ready?
I'm ready.
Cool. Rate these NBA players. Rate these NBA players without knowing who's next.
You said rate.
Oh, rank. Rank these NBA players without knowing who's next.
Okay, let's go.
Kyle,
I'm built for blind rankings.
Kyle
This
Kuzma.
would be perfect. Kyle Kuzma. That's a quintessential 4, I think. What about
Wait.
you, Mo?
Ooh, Kyle Kuzma. He has to be a 4. He's a perfect 4.
Perfect 4. He's built to be number 4.
Yeah, perfect mid.
Okay. Okay.
4th place in every race he's ever ran.
Donovan Mitchell.
He has to be 2 or 1.
My gut says 2. My brain says maybe 1, but I'm gonna go with the gut. He's number 2.
Let's do 2.
There's gonna be one true superstar on this list. I know it.
Yeah, exactly. There's definitely at least 10 players better than him in the NBA.
Jason Tatum's on this list. I'm feeling it.
Number
Calling it
3,
now.
D'Angelo Russell.
Ooh.
Oh, that's
5.
5. Yeah, that's
Let's
a
put him
quick.
at 6. Let's put him at
Damn.
6. Let's bury his ass.
Damn, bro. Yeah, rumor
Leave
has
5
it.
vacant.
Yeah, rumor has it. D'Lo still shooting them practice free throws, bro. Yeah, no. Yeah,
All
no.
right.
Yeah. Easy 5.
Next one, Devin Booker.
Look at us.
He is
Love that.
number one.
Number one.
Perfect. Conversation is over. This is a perfect list.
Tell me number 3. I nailed it. I know it.
Jason Tatum is next.
Fuck! I told you Jason Tatum was on this list.
Isaac, you're a bastard. Why didn't you stay 10 toes?
I was
Damn.
too right. Fuck.
You're nasty for having these. You're nasty for having Jason Tatum last. You're nasty.
Jail.
Yeah.
What can I say?
God,
And
bro.
just like that, this episode is over. Mo, tell people what they should comment.
Go ahead and comment. Join the Discord.
Comment, I'm joining the Discord after you join the Discord.
Perfect.
Facts.
Or comment, I joined the Discord. Past tense. Tell us you've already done it.
And don't lie either.
You know what?
Don't lie.
Yeah, don't lie. If I find out you commented, you joined the Discord and you didn't, I am going to... What am I going to do to you?
Don't even say it. Just know that it's over, buddy.
Oh, it's coming. Just know it's coming. Whatever it is, it's on the way.
Yeah. Go ahead. Leave a like.
Goodbye.